What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into MVP Sports. My name is Jake Neverman. I'm here with my beautiful co-host. We're kind of co-host together. We've now we're together a couple of times. We've kind of been together, kind of getting in the groove. Dave Oster, how we doing?
Doing excellent, man. I'm excited. We are sub 2 weeks from the draft.
Yeah.
Rumor mill is starting to churn. We're starting to see a whole lot of stuff coming out these days.
I was gonna say we're 2.5 weeks. We have the draft and we have
No,
free
two and a
agency.
half.
No, and free agency.
Oh, free agency after. Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right. It is so close.
These next 2.5 weeks are gonna spend the entire next year of our coverage, basically. Because whatever happens in the next, because basically, like, if you're getting traded, you're getting traded in the next 2.5 weeks. It's happening. So yeah,
Kyle Lowry, can't wait to see where you land.
maybe Chicago.
Damian Lillard, maybe we'll see.
Chicago came out as a rumor for Kyle Lowry. I read today Chicago and New Orleans. I'm like, well, he's not going to New Orleans, but
We're trying to speak into existence as we,
yeah,
that's an us move.
yeah, that'd be a nice little 7 seed team right there. But today we are not talking about free agency or anything like that. We are talking about the NBA draft because that's what Dave and I do best. That's what Dave and I enjoy. But today, so again, if you haven't joined our Discord down below, join it, best community in the world. We are reacting to certain Discord members send us their mock drafts, and we'll probably show no mercy in our reaction to their picks, but they have sent us in their mock drafts, and we're just gonna react to them. Pretty simple. It's not gonna be it's kind of a mailbag because it kind of is. It's not because we're not reacting to it's not our rankings. So
Yeah. Here's the plug, though. If you're in our Discord or if you join our Discord going forward, we're going to continue doing stuff like this.
Yep.
We love having the community that we have. We want to add to it. And if you guys want our reactions, we're going to make videos about it. Like, Jake's going to do a mailbag at some point. These reactions are coming up. And then we have a Discord draft coming out, I think, Friday. We're recording Friday?
It is going to be Friday the 23rd. Cross your fingers.
Ooh.
Hopefully. If we get it, there's 10 teams left at the time of recording this video. It's probably gonna be way different by the time that this goes out. But there's 10 teams left. Hopefully, we'll be live on Friday for the Discord mock. That's the hope. But again, that's down below. Patreon down below. Mock draft Ricky. I'm pretty sure Ricky's just put his mock draft up on Patreon. My full 2-round mock is going up on Tuesday. I believe it's going to be straight on the YouTube channel, though, because the draft's on Thursday. So no point in releasing a 2-week mock. But yeah, so Ricky's mock draft a week early is already on Patreon, I believe. And then mine will be going up on the YouTube channel on Tuesday. And then more throughout the year, Dave and I are going to start. We're going to start, just think next month, Dave and I are going to be talking 2022 NBA draft big board. It's going to happen next month. There's no denying.
Yes, but I want to talk about what team these kids land on. I call them kids, but they're like years away. But
we will.
I want to talk about the impact that makes, because you know, the one video I want to toss out there, I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna speak it into existence. I want to do a Jared Butler video before the draft happens because of the heart condition. Everything got medically cleared at this point.
Yeah.
I will get you guys a video on that. And honestly, though, the big thing is just post lottery, post everything. We are going to have so much more stuff coming.
I was going to say, I don't know. It's kind of been me and you on the draft recently, and then Ricky and Sophie covering the actual NBA news live. So I don't know if that'll continue in that format or not, but you and I will probably be pumping out post lottery content. I think what the plan will be is that, like, a couple of days after the draft, we'll be like 1 through 10 we'll react, and that'll be like an hour long video. 11 through 20, that'll be like an hour long video. And then the second round alone might be an hour long video because we could just sit here and talk about second round off the board prospects for days. But
absolutely.
Before we get sidetracked too much more, again, Patreon, Discord down below, and channel members down below. Same perks as Patreon if you are a channel member. And then thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. I almost forgot. Sorry, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
We're gonna move into the first mock of the video. It's gonna be James's mock. I don't know why I said James mock. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go increments of 10, and then we're gonna react to each 10 picks. And then Ricky will be throwing up some graphics on the screen. But unsurprisingly, at number 1, the Pistons, he has going with Cade Cunningham. Number 2, going Evan Mobley, the Rockets. 3, the Cavaliers going Jalen Green. 4, the Raptors going Jalen Suggs. 5, the Orlando Magic going Scotty Barnes. 6, the Oklahoma City Thunder going Jonathan Kuminga. 7, the Warriors going Franz Wagner. 8, the Orlando Magic going James Bouknight. Number 9, the Kings going Jalen Johnson. And number 10, the New Orleans Pelicans going Moses Moody. So, I don't really think we have to talk about the top 3 too much. We've already made our idea is pretty strong on that. I don't really think you can go wrong with Cade, Evan, Green if that's your. It's not my rankings. Obviously, we talked about it in our big board. Again, plug that. Go watch that on the YouTube channel. But yeah, so the top 4 is kind of set. I think we're gonna more focus on the after the top 4. Scotty Barnes at 5. We discussed him at length in our last big board. I think the more interesting picks are kind of towards the back end of that top 10. Franz Wagner at 7, James Bouknight at 8. I think we should start at those 2 picks. Franz Wagner, the Warriors at 7. Do you like it?
I love it. I mean, he is a guy who came into the NCAA already with some experience. Excellent catch and shoot player. Asked to carry on a bigger load at Michigan, and we saw him kind of do well for a team that kind of had like a mixed level of talent out there. Like he was being asked to play outside of his comfort zone as far as being a primary distributor at times. I think he's really going to thrive in a system like Golden State, where hey, there's guys like Steph Curry who are going to create their own gravity on offense. Yeah. That is a extra pass wins kind of team. And I think that he, as a catch and shoot guy, will fucking kill it. And also, defensively, he's, a Swiss Army knife out there. He can guard, 2, 3, 4s out there. And I really think that this is just an ideal fit for a plug-and-play kid to put into a NBA championship level roster. And let's see what they can do.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Franz Wagner, again, we talk ad nauseum about high-end role players in the draft, and that's exactly what the Warriors need right now. Their star power is already there. We know it's already there. They have the cap, and they have the contracts to move and these picks to move. They want to go get another star. But if they are going to stay pat and Wiggins is going to be on this team, adding a guy like Franz Wagner who can stretch the floor, who's smart with the ball, who doesn't turn the ball over, and isn't a defensive liability, just fits their system so well. It's the perfect pick. It's not Corey Kispert either, so that makes it even more happy.
That's why I love it.
That makes it even more happy for Dave. Number 8, James Bouknight. So the Magic are going guard again, I believe.
So they went Scotty Barnes at 5 and Bouknight at 8 in this mock. What do you think about that?
We talked.
Well, okay. Let me asterisk Scotty Barnes as a forward, because a lot of people are like, well, he played point guard at Florida State. Is he going to be a point guard, or is he going to be a point forward?
No.
Is he going to be a small ball 5?
Wait, so that means they took 2 guards.
Maybe.
No, but I think Scotty Barnes is a little bit redundant with this team. I like Scotty Barnes a lot, but you have Chuma Okeke, you have Jonathan Isaac, and you have Wendell Carter. I'm not a big believer in Wendell Carter, but having guys like Chuma Okeke and Jonathan Isaac taking a guy like Scotty Barnes doesn't really... I don't think Scotty Barnes is a high ceiling player. I think he's a very good NBA player. I don't think he has superstar ceiling. And when Jonathan Kuminga is there at 5, and you can take him with a guy who does have superstar ceiling, even though this is not a big board, so I'm not trying to get my personal too involved. But if you're having Kuminga go 6, that most likely makes me think that you have him labeled as a top 6 or 7 talent. So why wouldn't the Magic go for the higher ceiling player when they already have these kind of role players on their team that can play similar roles to him? James Bouknight at 8, I don't mind. I know I'm not the highest on Bouknight, but he's a bucket and he's a scoring guard. I don't know where the overlap is with his game and Cole Anthony's game.
He's bigger?
Yeah. But do they play next to each other? That's my question offensively.
Well,
and then you have Fultz,
here's
and then you have Fultz, and then you have why can't I think
Gary
of his
Harris
name?
still.
Not him. Why can't I think of his name?
Do.
Why can't I think of his name?
RJ Hampton?
RJ Hampton, who I think is going to take a major step this year if he can stay healthy. That's the big thing with him. Fultz, Hampton, Cole Anthony. I'm not really sure if at 8 I'm targeting at guard here, and maybe I go with back-to-back high ceiling players. I go Jonathan Kuminga. I go Jalen Johnson. Hopefully one of the 2 hits. That's where you're at with the Magic, because you go with the 2 highest potential guys left, because I think that's what you have to do when you're a team like the Magic who needs star power.
I think in a similar vein to you, but I'm going safer. I think that Bouknight fits an immediate need in a hole, seemingly, in their roster as far as they need a guy who can create for himself and who can be that walking bucket on offense. Like, we've seen what Fultz could do for a couple weeks, and if the expectations are right, him plus Isaac out there will be, amazing defensively. So you're allowed to have someone like Bouknight who defensively can be lacking, but his ability to just walk in and drop, 18 a night as a freshman, as a rookie. Yeah. I mean, technically, an NBA freshman is a rookie, but that sounds so weird. Somebody who could come into the NBA and drop, above 15 points a night. and just be a guy who can
You wanna say
be
walking
deferred
bucket.
to score.
You
I
wanna
want to
say-
say, but I don't want to. I don't want to
There's
because
one man. There are two guys
Yeah.
in this draft that I will refer to as a walking bucket. Jalen
right
Green.
at the top. Yep,
Jalen Green, and then
he
wait,
is.
there's one. Do you know who the other one is? That's a walking bucket.
Alperen Sengun.
No, it's
Schengen?
Cam Thomas because he has no other positives.
Oh.
He has no other positives to his game except for the fact
Nice
that
thing you
he's
can say
a
about him,
fucking
yeah.
bucket. That is it.
True.
And that's kind of
True.
like we love ballers. We love street ballers. The only other
It's
pick-
what pays off though. But
Agreed.
like my thing, sorry, you were saying you would
Yeah.
go highest, upside, and like you mentioned Jalen Johnson since he has him going 9 to the Kings.
Yeah.
Which would be the most Kings pick
Yeah,
in the history of Kings
completely.
pick.
I
Top of a long history of Kings picks. No, I would push back to that 10th pick in Moses Moody, and I would look to him if I was the Orlando Magic, and I would be like, you are a perfect guy to come in who has a high ceiling, high floor.
Agreed.
Love this kid's work ethic. Gets the line at will. He's smart. He understands the flow of the game. Like, I have so much respect for Moody, and I think that as much as I love Book Knight on that roster, like that might be like a coin flip moment for me. Like I like
my
the
coin
two way. I like the two way of Moody over Book Knight, even though he's playing next to. Literally, we're talking. Fultz is a phenomenal defender. Isaac's a phenomenal defender. Chuma,
Chuma,
depending on his defense out there, is just
Chuma.
so good.
You forgot about Mo.
Nope, I did not. I think this Magic team's going to be hella fun though because they have these two top picks and like the Scotty Barnes one. If you believe that's his spot, then that's his spot. Like I'm not even worried about it. They will find a way to get him on the floor. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And the other guy I was going to ask about was Moses Moody. So that you solved that question.
No. Talk Jalen Johnson. Just give a quick. I made the joke about the Kings being Kangs. Like
He needs
please.
He needs time, and he needs somebody to get inside of his head. We talked about this in the big board. He is a uber talented wing with an NBA ready body. It just doesn't seem like his head is on straight, and that is quite literally the only thing that is holding him back because his shot selection is really his only major negative. Defensively, he can be a plus defender, maybe not an elite level defender. Just because his head. Literally, that's the only reason. But everything he can do, he can score at every level. He is not a pick and roll facilitator like he thinks he is.
Thank you.
But he is a wing, and he's a scoring wing. And he actually can facilitate a little bit when he doesn't try to be the primary initiator of the offense. So I think he has a high ceiling, but going to a team like Sacramento with a coach like Luke Walton, no. Just no. Like the Spurs, genuinely. If he could get Greg Popovich to scream at him once or twice to stop fucking trying to be the offensive initiator, then that'd be like almost the dream spot for him.
Yeah, you know how last year Ricky was busting Anthony Edwards Falls, calling him Anthony Bennett.
Well,
I have concerns around work ethic with Jalen Johnson.
yeah.
I have that drive question. I have that off the court question, and it's not been answered. And from the rumor mills, a lot of people have him falling.
Yeah.
A lot of people post interview suddenly have an opinion about him that's not super favorable. So if he thinks he's better than he is, and he's not putting in the effort on off the clock, like how good can he be?
That's the question.
I'm a little hesitant to have him this high still. I think that I will not argue with him in the top 10 because of his tangible
Talent.
fucking. I'm an athlete. I can score. I can play on the wing. Like I have a great body, but like I can't buy into him as a top 10 pick because of he does not seem to be someone who I would be behind mentally, and B is someone who is putting in the work to get better at basketball day in day out, which you need to do at this level.
Fair.
So
That's fair.
that is the only pick. Like this is and I don't mean this in a bad way, but this is the basic bitch of
It's chalk.
mock drafts.
It's chalk.
This is pretty chalk, yeah.
It's pretty chalk. Yeah, we'll move on to the 11 through 20. 11, he has the Charlotte Hornets. Love it with Sengun. I know it's like Shagun or something.
Sengun.
I know,
Yeah.
but I've been saying Sengun for so long. He's just named Sengun. Sorry, it just happens. 12, Giddey. Josh Giddey to the San Antonio Spurs. 13, the Pacers taking Keon Johnson. 14, cover your ears. The Golden State Warriors going with Corey Kispert. 15, the Wizards going with Isaiah Jackson. 16, the Thunder going with Kai Jones. 17, the Grizzlies going with Zaire Williams. 18, I almost said the Florida Gators. The Oklahoma City Thunder going with Trey Mann. 19, the Knicks going with Sharif Cooper. And 20, the Atlanta Hawks going Davion Mitchell. So, going through the picks, first and second pick, Şengün and Giddey, they're chalk, I think, too. Not chalk, but they're good fits. You could see where those players fit into those two teams. I don't really think any of them are controversial. The next couple picks, Keon Johnson to the Pacers, I think at that point is BPA, minus Sharif Cooper to you. I know.
I think that is potential upside. Yeah, I think
Yes.
they're aiming at highest ceiling left on the board in their minds.
Yeah.
Keon, again, standout talent at Tennessee, playing in a very old Tennessee style offense, so he didn't get to display a lot of what he can do. But basically, he's 6'4", he flies around, he attacks the rim like crazy athleticism.
Flies around is an understatement. That man glides. He glides.
Yeah,
he glides.
He's smooth, and he has crazy hops.
Yeah.
Offensively, his shot is incredibly questionable outside of the free throw line range. Like that is sort of the max range for him comfortably. So like fit wise, you don't even worry about that at 13. I think they're just going for. We think this kid in a couple of years under our growth will be excellent. He'll be something special.
Agreed.
That's fair.
I agree. And then Corey Kispert at 14, role player.
Yeah.
I know you don't like it, but he fits perfectly into that system. Would play very well for them and would plug right in as a bench, a kind of a high usage bench player. There's no and it's not a bad pick. I'm sorry, I know that you don't like him, but it's not a bad pick.
I would be interested in why not go with the next guy up in Isaiah Jackson there. I think that would be someone who could help contribute in a more impactful way. I think Wiseman, Draymond, and then having Jackson there would be the better three-man center rotation for the regular season and the playoffs. I get Kispert's, catch and shoot. But in the playoffs, if everything goes right, how many minutes is Kispert playing?
Yeah.
Klay Thompson's out there for 40. So Wiggins is out there for 40. And we just drafted Wagner, who's going to be out there for a large chunk of time too. So
here's my problem with it. The Warriors' number one fault off their bench unit was their playmaking. Sharif Cooper is right there. He is dynamic.
You said I didn't.
No, because you're sitting at 14. I had him 13 on my big board. This is right about his range. Late lottery to me. He is a dynamic playmaker who is one of the best passers in the entire draft. He can score at every level at his height, which is astonishing. Why would you not? You just plug. I think Franz Wagner and Corey Kispert is redundant. I said it's not a bad pick because he's a role player. He's a good role player. I think it's redundant and it doesn't solve your playmaking issue. Sharif Cooper plugs in. Even if you don't like Sharif Cooper, Trey Man at least fills that need more than what they have. Because I don't want Nico Mannion going out there and Toscano Anderson going out there and playing.
No, Toscano Anderson's fine for what he is.
Well, no, but I'm saying as their playmaker.
Yes.
He is a wing. He is a off-ball wing. That's what he is. And they need to address the primary
Go even
issue.
a notch further. Take Chris.
Yeah.
Go ahead and grab Duarte.
Yeah.
Duarte. Right? I can never get his name right. That is my name. That is kryptonite. Duarte. Go get him. Go get, if Davion is there at 14, someone who has been mocked at 7 to them in something that never made sense to anyone inside the MVP universe. I think that would be a better situation. Shit, even Trey Murphy, sneak peek, his 2021-22, Davion, Trey, and Chris Duarte, all three of those picks I like more than Corey Kispert. And again, if you're going for accuracy during draft night, you might be right.
Yeah.
I'm going off my passion for how I think you build around this core on the Warriors, and I think that all three of those guys could do a better job than what Corey Kispert brings to the table. But I don't think you're wrong in the line of thought. I question, like you said, there's a minutes crunch unless you know that there's going to be a trade and Wiggins is out the door, which opens up a lot of minutes at the wing for you. In which case, yes, you do need Wagner and Kispert.
But if you trade Wiggins, you're trading him for a wing. Unless you trade him for Dame, which is, don't let that happen.
It could be Wiggins, 7 Wiseman. We don't know what that combo would take, you know?
The only other kind of interesting pick was Zaire Williams at 17. We both had him mocked as a second round talent. We both said that he has potential to be an NBA player, just doesn't seem like anything's there. So you're genuinely betting, and this is not. I don't think this is not a Grizzlies pick. Because the Grizzlies don't do that. They take pure basketball skill for most of their players.
They're a skill over potential kind of an org, yeah.
So if Sharif Cooper is sitting there, and they needed a playmaker off the bench to play next to D'Anthony Melton. Give me D'Anthony Melton and Sharif Cooper playing next to each other.
Could you imagine Sharif Cooper, John Morant on the court at the same time?
No, it would be elite. It'd be the best package.
A highlight show would be on a different level. I don't think that's a good pick.
No.
I think the Zaire Williams, I will buy into. That is a pick of them after watching the playoffs last year and going, we need, like, Jalen Brooks gave them so much, and I don't know if you can expect that out of him. And I don't know if that's the normal. If this is the start of the new Jalen Brooks era, count me in. Like, that was a level of fucking
Dude,
shooting and toughness, and
off.
his mouth on the court, like, this man was my hero for, like, I loved it. But the question is that who you can count on, or do you think that, hey, we need to keep reimbursing, and Zaire Williams is a value pick here. This was a top kid in high school for a reason. He's got NBA body. He has NBA potential. He just had a really weird year. And, like, should we fault him for that? Like, the pandemic year, being in a Pac-12 school, everything that went on around what was going on in his personal life at the time. Like, yes, he struggled, but did you see enough that gave you hope? In the same way that, like, Cam Reddish, I think that's a fair thing to say. Cam Reddish was playing around different circumstances, obviously, with two superstars in Zion and RJ. But I think Zaire, you could give, like, an asterisk to his season and say, hey, let's put him on a team with a true point guard and John Morant, and let's give him the talent and the spacing with Jaren Jackson Jr. out there and see what he can do under our great development staff who has done wonders with everyone. So, like, I genuinely think this is a very good mock. Like, I love 19 with Cooper. I think that is perfect. I think that 20 with Davion being the backup point guard / if they want to go 3 wide fucking at the guard position because they're wacky in Atlanta. Like, I think they nailed these picks. So I think this is a really good mock so far.
Sharif is the direct replacement of Derrick Rose. That is genuinely just what it is for that team because there's rumors that Derrick Rose might walk. So
Even if he doesn't walk,
then you have both.
Derrick Rose isn't a starting point guard for 82 games.
No, agreed.
He is someone who you put in heavy minutes in the playoffs because that is where he will make, all the impact in the world. But, like, Cooper is a star point guard waiting to be fucking unleashed. Yeah. And I cannot wait for it to happen. If it's on Tom Thibodeau, I'm a little afraid. Okay. I will be honest, that is one of those teams where I'm like, deep breath, Dave. We'll get through this on the other side.
We are going to move into 21-30. We talked a little bit long on the last two, so this one will probably be a little brief. No.
Yep.
We just need to keep talking points for the other mocks.
Yes.
21-30. 21, the Knicks going with Trey Murphy. The third. 22, the Lakers going with Chris Duarte. 23, the Rockets is like blended in with the screen. The Rockets going with Jane Springer. 24, the Rockets again going with JT Thor. 25, the Clippers going with Usman Garuba. 26, the Nuggets going with Jared Butler. 27, the Nets going with Cam Thomas. 28, love you for this. The Sixers going with Josh Christopher. 29, the Suns going with Day'Ron Sharpe. And 30, the Jazz going with Miles McBride. So we'll cut it off with the first round because if we start the second rounds, we would go.
Oh, just say 31. Just say 31. I know you want to.
The Bucks going with Sean Bones Highland. You're right. But he's not. I have to say it's a bad mock because he's not in the top 30. So that's just a bad mock. First off, the Rockets just end up with highway robbery in this draft with JT Thor that late and even Jaden Springer in my mind.
I think both. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many like robbery picks I think in this late. Usman Garuba at 25 would be an absolute steal. Jared Butler at 26 is just. How is he still here? You go. Sorry.
No. I let's stop at Usman Garuba. Yeah. Someone who just played in an Olympic game, quote unquote. It was the warm-up games for Spain. We watched. Did you watch?
I did not
have
watch
to ask,
it.
and not like in a condescending manner.
Did not watch it.
So he played 12 minutes. Got a bunch of rebounds, couple assists, pass out of the pick and roll, well from the mid post. A couple putbacks did get blocked. A little stuff action from KD.
That's gonna happen.
I think that was a vast statement that in 12 minutes he looked incredibly comfortable out there playing defense 1 through 5. I think that people did not know what to expect when everyone talked about his defensive IQ. Talked about hey, his offense game is raw. It's bad, but it's not that bad. I think is the new expectation people are gaining. but watching him play as fluidly as he did on the perimeter and then being able to turn and move with guys and come off picks, I think defensively he is higher than we think here. I think that he will go before the mid-20s. I think that a lot of teams are looking. He has one more game before draft day and then one on draft day. I would expect him to go before 25. I think that if the Clippers could get him at 25, that would be awesome. And I understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Especially, we don't know the situation with Serge Ibaka, his back, what's going on.
Oh my gosh, he would be like, he would plug and play for them. Like
that is,
he would plug and play.
He is going to be a very in-demand player. And you nailed it, JT Thor, Springer as two raw young steals for a team in the Rockets who are just going to throw minutes at people like there is no tomorrow.
Could you imagine if they threw JT Thor, Christian Wood, and Evan Mobley out in the same court? Good luck! Good luck! Good luck scoring against that. That is just like...
That's 25 feet of wingspan right there, back to back to back.
Yeah, and I as the Usman Garuba fanboy, as me having him as a top 10 prospect in this draft, his defensive IQ is... I watch international basketball, Dave. I know what Usman Garuba is about. I know what Usman Garuba is about. Me and Retro were talking about him as a top 10 prospect like 3 months ago because his defensive upside, I already know it's elite. I already know it's all defensive elite talent. The offensive game,
but now we've seen it against top.
Exactly.
I will put top NBA talent. I know our team right now is struggling to have bodies on the court.
Yeah, we have 8 players. We have 8.
But he looked like a legitimate I'm instantly going like I had him before as like maybe if he develops a shot he'll be like Thabo Cephalosha, Trevor Ariza out there, but more towards the defensive side. Now I'm like, this motherfucker's PJ Tucker.
Literally.
Like, he is a corner 3 away from PJ Tucker.
But better defensively.
Well, he's PJ Tucker, but instead of being 38, he's fucking 18.
He's 18. He's 18. I don't even know what his wingspan is. He's 6'8" with like a 7-foot wingspan, I'm pretty sure. It's something like that.
Yeah. So I think that he will be likely headed towards that previous section between 10 and 20 on a lot of front offices considerations after that first game. If he can continue it, I mean teams are really starting to sink their teeth into him.
Yeah. One final short Dave.
Yep. I can't do short.
Shot prospect 30 the Jazz, Miles McBride. I love the pick.
Same.
Just like defensive upside with a guy who can be an offensive initiator, has a good shot, can get to the line, good from the free throw line. He's just like high-end role player. That's what he is. And with a team that might be losing Mike Conley, he's a guy who could get direct minutes on the Utah Jazz. I love the pick at 30.
Yeah, no, I think they got the right guy, the right fit, and a nice complementary piece out there because they have an excellent scorer next to him. Between their two equivalent shooting guards on the roster.
Can we say something? Like, imagine they used Jordan Clarkson in a trade and then took Deshaun Highland and just threw him into the same role that Jordan Clarkson played. Buckets.
There's a downside there.
Buckets.
Clarkson is refined.
Buckets.
But I appreciate your passion.
But yeah,
I think that I every pick here makes sense. And again, I want to compliment this. I just think that there's some guys on this board who are likely rising in the last 2 weeks for the right reasons. JT Thor, Usman Garuba, Jared Butler are all hot names right now. And I think that Trey Murphy, though, and Chris Duarte, your 2020 or your 21 and 22 picks. Let me put it this way. Lakers would love to have someone like Jared Butler. Absolutely die to have someone like Jared Butler available to them. The Knicks, Trey Murphy is literally the fucking wet dream of Tom Thibodeau. He's just like, I love the 3-and-D. Take shots from the 3-point line. Don't even think about stepping inside and just play defense. I think that I like so much about this draft. I just think that there's a lot of late risers. Yeah.
There's some movement. You know what? We're gonna do a one bite review real quick. So out of 10, Dave, just quick. What's your score of this mock? What's your score?
7.4. I think it's 7.4. Solid 7.4.
I was gonna go 7.7. So there we go. We're both about the same ballpark there. But I want to thank James for submitting his mock draft. It pretty good. Not too bad to start. Now we're going to move into Chainsaw's mock draft. Chainsaw's been a member of the Discord for a long time, so maybe we'll take it a little bit easy on him, Dave. What do you think?
No, this is
okay.
I have expectations of Chainsaw.
Okay.
He better deliver.
He's been in our Discord for he's one of the longest ones, one of the most active ones for how long?
He's an OG. He's one of the OGs. Yeah.
One of the OGs. So shout out Chainsaw. We're going to move into his mock. With the first pick, the Pistons taking, shocking, Cade Cunningham. Number 2, the Rockets taking Evan Mobley. 3, the Cavs taking Jalen Green. 4, the Raptors taking Jalen Suggs. 5, Scotty Barnes of the Magic. 6,
we've been here before.
6, the Thunder taking Jonathan Kuminga. 7, the Warriors going Jalen Johnson. 8, the Magic going Keon Johnson. 9, the Kings going Franz Wagner. And 10, the Pelicans going Davion Mitchell. So we're not going to touch the top 6 because we already talked about them in the previous mock. What we're going to talk about is this 7 through 10, Dave, because it was pretty chalk through the first 5 or through the first 6. I think the first 6 is pretty chalk, and then after the top 6, you kind of get like what everybody's mind's at with the rest of this draft. Because while people might not have Barnes and Kuminga at 5 or 6 in their big boards all the time, that's kind of where everybody believes they're just going to end up. So,
and something unique about that, I found out today. If it goes down this way, this will be the first time ESPN correctly got the high school rating 1 through 6, and those guys go picks 1 through 6 in the draft. Not the same order, but their grouping of 1 through 6 out of high school is the grouping 1 through 6 in the draft for a lot of predictions out there. It's kind of wild.
Also, if you want a good time and you need to kill time and you're a degenerate like me, go back and go look at the ESPN high school ratings. They're amazing.
Well, it depends on who's added what. We know that ESPN's been prone to do a little bit of tweaking on the revisionist history there.
It's fair.
But no, let's jump into it. 7. You said it. Jalen Johnson to the Warriors. You mentioned the Spurs earlier as a team that you just need a coach to yell at this kid to get him on the basketball track. Are the Warriors the right team for that?
I don't really think so.
I don't think so either. I think this is a fucking...
I think it's awful. I think it's awful.
No. No way they touch him. He is radioactive right now.
I don't think stepping into a team that's going to be contending for a championship right away is really going to help his ego, because he's going to be asked to come off the bench and be asked to be a role player and play 10 to 12 minutes a game, if that, in the playoffs. Then you look at, the Warriors kind of system. He's literally going to be labeled as a wing shooter with limited creative responsibility, which I don't think is good for his progression. So, what?
The one thing I can think of, the only reason why Jalen Johnson would pick 7, and we did put this asterisk going in, was there are no trades.
Yeah.
If someone were to be traded post-draft, I think at 7, he might be the most interesting player the teams would look towards for that pick at number 7. Like, it's that handshake agreement of you take Jalen Johnson at 7, and in a week when free agency opens up, we can make a deal happen. That is the only way I can understand how this pick happens.
I'd agree. Kind of spoke about it a little bit before, is that I think that the Warriors have a specific target if they are keeping these picks. I don't think it's wildly high-end, potential guys like a Jalen Johnson. They need guys who can step in now and make an impact now. Now, if you can get a guy who can do both, a.k.a. the guy who goes one pick after him, and Keon Johnson, who had... Listen. You need him to develop his shot, correct? That's his...
Yeah.
Where else would you like him to go?
Yeah, motherfucker can't shoot.
I would love him to develop a shot in Golden State. That is the most basic casual take ever, but it's the correct take. Is that if you want somebody to develop their shot, let's go to the Golden State where he could work out with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Steve Kerr, 3 of the greatest 3-point shooters. Kenny Atkinson. I forgot he went there.
Now an assistant coach on the Golden State Warriors.
So you have
someone who is known for developing guards.
You have 3 of the best shooters of all time. This is a place where if he's not going to develop a shot there, he's not going to develop it anywhere. So
write him off.
I just think if you're going to take Jalen Johnson, I'd rather just take Keon Johnson.
You already have a 2-guard off the bench, though, in my mind, Poole, who I love. I think he had an incredible development year last year.
Yeah.
So I think that I would disagree. And I don't want to be that guy, but Wagner's there. Shit, Davion's there, and I fucking hate Davion at 7, but I would take Davion at 7 over Jalen Johnson unless I'm trading that pick.
You want to say it?
No, I don't. I'm not.
Sharif's there.
Nope. Nope.
No.
I'm just. Yeah. I'm being as whatever to my big board as possible. I just think that there is so much that can go wrong with Jalen Johnson. There's also a ton that could go right, but the timeline, I think that's the biggest question with Golden State is just is Wiggins and Wiseman 7 and 14? Are they all going to be on this team as they compete for a championship by the playoffs this year, or do we expect these all to be movable chess pieces? And I think that's maybe what is deciding this placement. That's the only way I can
You want to get spicy?
be nice.
You want to get spicy?
I'm being nice.
Not towards Chainsaw, towards the Warriors.
Oh, okay.
Spicy. What if they know Steph Curry has said he's not going to sign an extension next year? So then do you flip towards the high? Because what if Steph goes, I've played in Golden State for over a decade now. I'm ready to move on and go to a new team and a new challenge and play with Joel Embiid, my best friend, the Philadelphia 76ers. Am I ready to do that and play with my brother and Seth Curry? Am I ready to go do that?
Curry.
And aren't they? No, Seth is brother-in-laws with Doc. So something like that. I'm sure they hang out at family gatherings because that's what families do. And you can come home and play in the city of brotherly love and just win a bunch of titles.
Jake, get out of here with your fucking Homer 76er takes.
What? You keep Ben Simmons and then you get Steph Curry and then you have Ben and Steph in the backcourt. Easy clap. Back to the mock draft. I think we I think we're on the same page here. The Magic Keon Johnson at 8. That's a tad interesting because this is like a flip from what we saw from the other side. So we saw James Bouknight go in James mock draft to the Magic. This is a complete flip in that, and now we're going to put Fultz and Jalen and Keon Johnson on the same team. And most likely, I'm not sure. This is the problem with the Magic in a lot of these mocks is I've been told the Magic are in this great place, they have all this talent, but I'm like, but what's the direction with the talent? They traded away Vucevic. Now, obviously, they probably won that trade. Sorry. So
we'll see.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. The trade they more won was the Aaron Gordon one because they got RJ Hampton. So what is their direction and who is their future backcourt? Is it RJ Hampton and a Markelle Fultz? Is it a Cole Anthony RJ Hampton? Is it somehow a Cole Anthony and a Markelle Fultz? Is it whoever they drafted Markelle Fultz? Who is it? Like there needs to be some. I think this year, most likely in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll know more about their direction because they have a lot of talent. I don't know if any of it is superstar talent. Jonathan Isaac probably is, but
Markelle Fultz still has superstar potential.
I think he has all-star
potential. I'm holding on to hope.
All-star potential, not superstar potential.
Sure. Okay.
I'll label that. But that still doesn't clear the fact you need a number one to win a title, and I'm not sure if any of the guys, I've been redundant on this and people probably know it, but none of these guys are that. So are you going to aim for that high-end guy? And if these picks were flipped, if Keon went before you, would you then go Jalen Johnson and aim for the high-end? I think
Keon is in a similar boat, though. I think Keon is a raw athletic wing. Yes, he is a smaller, but what they see in him is someone who's electric. They see someone who can defend, which, hey, like we talked about, Markelle, Chuma, Isaac are all excellent defenders. They're all way above average. Wendell can be if he's healthy. Mo Bamba, question marks. But the whole point is they have a handful of guys who have this defensive repertoire around them. And I think that, yes, drafting Keon is a massive gamble because if you do that, you have no natural scorers in that starting lineup, hypothetical starting lineup. And that is asking a lot out of these guys to do something that no one has shown they are comfortable taking the reins on. So I understand the upside pick of him. If anybody could develop a shot, what could Keon be if he could start knocking down outside shots? He'd be disgusting because a simple pump and a jab step, and he is dunking from fucking 10 feet out. He is oozing with potential, but it depends how much you believe in his shot moving forward.
Yeah.
Whether it's broken, whether it's not. That I'm not a shot doctor. I can only tell you from the stats we've seen.
Well, I am.
It is going to take a huge fucking effort to get him to shoot comfortably from 3-point range. So I think this is one of those yes, if they're drafting raw upside, I could see why he is your 8th overall pick, but I just do not love anything about that.
Yeah, we had a very long discussion on the big board about shot development and a couple of these prospects. So again, check that out on our channel. It's a good video. I guess the last top 10 pick I want to talk about, because we kind of touched on the other guys. Davion Mitchell at 10 to the Pelicans. Again, you want to talk about a team that has no direction with their roster? It's this team. Today they were rumored to be interested in Kyle Lowry. I'm like, that's great. No way Lowry's going to New Orleans. There's no shot. They also came out today that most likely Steven Adams or Eric Bledsoe is going to be traded. I'm like, they both should be. They're both terrible fits. And then they're not going to match any significant offer on Lonzo Ball. So what do you have? You have Hayes, you have Zion, and you have Brandon Ingram. And Kira Nah, but again, he doesn't get to play. There's so many questions. I love Nah, but I'm not sure of what his role is on this team, what his role is in the NBA future. He's a walking bucket, and again, nothing else outside of that. So, the team has so many questions, and then taking Davion Mitchell here, I understand the pick. I get it. We're gonna say this over and over again. Sharif Cooper's right there. I would much rather have Sharif Cooper than Davion Mitchell, especially on this team with the playmaking need they have.
We'll take Jared Butler.
I would take Jared Butler too. Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'd take Moses Moody. I would take Moses Moody. I would take Moses Moody.
Look, there's a list of guys who I'd prefer to have on this roster, but I agree with you. Roster construction, they have names on a roster right now. They don't have an actual group of guys they could believe in moving forward. And that's the problem. So
yeah,
this is not one pick that will solve it, but I think that if you're trying to address a potential hole in the roster, Davion is an interesting choice. If you believe in his shot being a 1-year miracle turnaround, good for you.
Good for you.
It could be. We don't know yet. So, look, if he's a 50-40 shooter, dope. If he's a 40-40, 40-35, great.
That's great. I was going to say.
We will take that, but I just don't know that...
I'm not sure I believe in it either. I just want to...
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I believe in the long upside. Maybe I think Davion Mitchell can be a solid NBA player. I'm not sure if I buy into the superstar potential that I've heard people talk about him. Yeah, but let's move into the 11 through 20. This is kind of where things get a little bit interesting in Chainsaw's mock.
Yeah.
11, the Hornets going Kai Jones. 12, the Spurs going Josh Giddey. Again, he just seems to keep falling at San Antonio. 13, the Pacers going Corey Kispert. Not going to make the joke. You know what the joke is. 14, the Warriors ending up with Moses Moody. Highway robbery. 15, the Washington Wizards end up with James Bouknight. 16, the OKC Thunder end up with Shagan. There you go. 17, the Grizzlies Trey Murphy. That makes a lot of sense. Not that I would be the pick. Makes a lot of sense. 18, the Thunder going with Zaire Williams. 19, the Knicks going Chris Duarte. And 20, the Hawks going Jared Butler. I know we should talk from top to bottom, but I have to skip to Jared Butler to the Hawks and how amazing that fit would be for the exact role that he has to play, and especially down the stretch, he could play next to Trae Young. That team, size might lack a little bit maybe, but Jared Butler is defensively solid and maybe elite at one point, and offensively he can be a secondary creator. That's what his role should be in the NBA most likely. And then having Trae Young, and then having either Bogey or Kevin or the Red Velvet or Cam Reddish on this team. The thing with the Hawks is, and they are just so stacked with talent everywhere that
they're deep. They're a deep team.
They just need to start. They made the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think they were as a good enough team to make these. I don't know how to label it. I don't think they were an Eastern Finals talented team. Is that the...
Now, why would you think that, Jake? Is that because a certain team rolled over you in 7 games?
No, it's because a certain team just continually choked repeatedly. But not talking about that team. I don't know what team you're even referring to. The Hawks need to now kind of weed out the outside talent and figure out who is their core going forward, because they have a very good core. They have a core that can contend for years to come. I don't know if Danilo Gallinari is part of that core going forward. He is a very good player, but do you keep taking minutes away from people to give him minutes for immediate success? That's the question with this team. Cam Reddish balled when he...
Ron Collins' contract is that's the question of the offseason for this team. What are you doing?
I'd say no.
Do you give him the money?
No.
Do you give him $20 million? Do you give him $25? Do you see if he comes down to $25? Maybe.
I would not give him $25 million. I don't know what your thoughts are on John Collins. I would not pay him $25 million.
Different video, different day, man.
Okay. But yeah, love Jared Butler. Love the fit on the Hawks. Now we skip way back up to 11. Kai Jones to the Charlotte Hornets.
Would you imagine?
We talked about him in our mock. In our big board. Sorry. Athletic freak. Outside of that, question marks, a lot of them. But the alley-oop game with him and LaMelo will be phenomenal.
That's all we're really hoping for. This is a Hornets have a hole at the 5. Kai Jones is available. We love our Texas centers. Go ahead and plug in an athletic five and see what happens.
So we're gonna lose Bismack Biyombo, and we're gonna replace him with a younger Bismack Biyombo.
Potentially
but
worse,
a worse blocker.
Defensively.
I was gonna say a worse defensive player. So
potentially worse defensively, but potentially better upside offensively.
There you go.
I just think that Hornets team would be very fun with Kai Jones out there. I don't know if he's going to be a natural 5 in the NBA or if he's still going to try to not be. Look, I understand why you have him going there. He has a lot of potential, but his game is so goddamn raw. I have a hard time putting him that high on my board, especially knowing like
Shagun.
Just say it. Yeah, you have a polished big, one of the most polished bigs in NBA draft history coming in. Just the offensive oozing skill set. And you have enough wings where you can play alongside him and not wangs for days.
Thank you.
I love it. That's the pick. I get why you have Kai going there, because if you're saying, hey, we want the best center on the board in our minds and you believe that he is, great for you. Look, you will never get the block numbers out of Shagun that you will out of Kai Jones, probably.
The points you're getting out of Kai Jones from Shagun, though.
The turnovers, the assists, the basketball IQ on the offensive side of the fucking court. But them highlight plays are gonna look pretty fucking good. Kai Jones got a long arms.
The Bleacher Report would love this pick. I'm not. The Hornets are a hard team for me to read. Just because they have LaMelo, so they have superstar potential there. But then they have guys with accelerated timelines outside of LaMelo, with a Hayward, with a Terry Rozier, who are older. Kind of don't know. I love PJ Washington's game. Cannot spit.
Is PJ the small ball 5? And
that's what I think.
In those situations, and Kai Jones is your 4 then. Same with, Shagun, same situation. You have a 6'9" guy with a polished offensive game, and PJ Washington, who has been known to have an excellent job, providing rim protection at times.
But my problem is that I think PJ Washington is a small ball 5, and while they have a need at 5, I think you can address that in other places in free agency. And when you go with the higher impact player immediately in this, especially if you're going Kai Jones, I love Moses Moody. I think I don't know how long Terry Rozier's timeline is on this team. That's my only worry, and they're losing Devontae Graham, which I think they are, which I don't think is a big loss. I'm not a Devontae Graham fan. Made that pretty clear. But you have Moses Moody and James Bouknight right there. They provide scoring and not Bouknight, but more Moses Moody, the smart offensive all-around game that you kind of need next to LaMelo. And if you get a Moses Moody, LaMelo and Moses Moody for the future with a Miles Bridges and a PJ Washington, you just need to get that elite 3, that elite wing, and that's a team to go with for the future. So I know Gordon Hayward's there now. There's already been rumors about him being traded this offseason. So I think Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward are kind of on strings for me. PJ Washington has to stay healthy to be their small ball 5 moving forward, and then you cannot split up Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball. So it's filling in that 2 and 3 for me with this team. So while I don't,
but this was a team ready to compete basically if they had a healthy roster. That's what's crazy. Are they a rebuilding team, or are they a team that is going to compete for the playoffs? It depends on if they keep Rozier, if they keep Hayward. Those are the 2 pieces that will decide the future and the timeline of this team.
Yeah, I just think they're a little bit ahead of their time frame right now, but I get it because with LaMelo, you're in Charlotte. You know you're in Charlotte. You need to
get Zoe. Add Zoe. Come on,
dude. Please, LaMelo, Zoe, and then sign LiAngelo. There's your 1, 2, 3 with Miles Bridges and PJ Washington. Easy. Easy. Yep. But yeah, and then outside of that, we already talked about Zaire Williams, and we talked about Jared Butler. Chris Duarte, the Knicks. He's an upgrade on Reggie Bullock. I genuinely believe that. So I think that's a good pick. I don't really have any arguments with it.
No, and OKC taking Zaire would be too brand. That would be right on par with your brand.
That would just completely on brand. So then we'll move on to 21 through 30 to wrap up. Chainsaw's mock. 21, the Knicks going with Trey Mann. 22, the Lakers going with Cam Walking Bucket Thomas. 23, the Rockets going with Usman Garuba. And 24, the Rockets going with Sharif Cooper. Okay, I'm going to stop real quick.
I mean,
if they end up with Usman Garuba and Sharif Cooper, I will become a secondary Rockets fan. Like, they would just become my second team. But
it's hard not to
who
be.
did he have him? He had him taking Evan Mobley. So they would have
yeah.
Evan Mobley, Usman. Good God. 25, the Clippers going with Isaiah Jackson. 26, the Nuggets going with Jaden Springer. 27, the Nets going with the Nets going with the Nets. The Nets going with Josh Christopher. 28, my guy, Deshaun Bones-Hyland of the 76ers. 29, the Suns taking Joshua Primo. And 30, JT Thor. And, we're going to throw it in there. $31 for Rocco Percassin. So we had to throw that one in there.
Appreciate that.
I don't
Where do
think,
you want to start?
I don't think Chainsaw. Okay, so for those of you who are not in our Discord, link down below. Chainsaw is what we would refer to as a hater towards Sharif Cooper. I think him putting him down at 24 is criminally low. I'm not gonna get Dave started. We've talked about Sharif Cooper enough. 24 is criminally low. If the Rockets would end up with Usman Garuba and Sharif Cooper, we just talked about Usman Garuba in the prior mock. That would just be, yeah. I think the interesting ones are Trey Mann on the Knicks. We talked about them playmaking needs. Trey Mann does kind of fit that. I'm not quite sure if his upside as an initiator offensively or a primary playmaker. And then I don't hate the fit and I don't love it. I think it's an okay pick.
It doesn't. I don't believe it fills the void they have. I'll just say it. I think that if you're in that position, you have to take Cooper. You have to take Jaden Springer.
I didn't even think that Sharif Cooper was just sitting there. My bad. Yeah. Sorry. I can't believe he's still alive at 21. My bad.
I think the one pick that I think you absolutely fucking knocked out of the park is Josh Christopher to the Nets. I think that is exactly what they're looking to fill, assuming that Spence is going to walk on them. I think Christopher can come in and give you a scuffed version of that. And I think he's got great upside. He's got size. He drives to the hole. He is not afraid of contact, and he has a game that he's continuing to grow. So, I think he's a guy you can give a lot of run to in the regular season, and then postseason cut him down to a limited amount of minutes, and he will play not mistake free, but I think he'll play above his expectations at that point.
Yeah, love Josh Christopher. We've talked about him before. I know Retro also is a big fan of him. We talk with Retro a lot about
we do.
Prospects. You'll probably hear his name. Yeah, I'm gonna mention it. Bones-Hyland at 28 to the Sixers. I mean, you're literally just like, hey, Shake Milton, go away. Deshaun Hyland, be better. That's literally what this is. Shake Milton was good for some of the season, really bad for most of the season. Just completely, he started out the season so well offensively off the bench. Bones-Hyland comes in, gonna be a walking bucket. I mean, I don't know how it would work. Defensively, it would not work. But offensively, just give me Tyrese Maxey and Deshaun Hyland at the court at the same time. Because Maxey's driving ability mixed with Deshaun Hyland stretching the floor. And then you know what? Maybe Isaiah Joe's going to play a little bit next year because Furkan might be gone. Just no defense out of the 1, 2, 3. Just pure, utter buckets.
Undersized buckets for days.
Buckets. That's all there is to it. No,
Jesus, man. You've got problems.
I mean, yeah, we both do. Okay, you just can't say undersized buckets when your favorite player is Sharif Cooper. I don't want to hear it.
Josh Primo, though, first round sighting, someone who has gotten a lot of love again in probably the last month of the draft. Good size, young, one of the youngest, if not the youngest prospect in this draft class. Didn't play a ton of minutes at Bama, but seemed to play okay. I don't think he did anything on from what I've seen. I don't understand it. He must be having incredible interviews and workouts. I understand why you have him here because there's a lot of hype around him, but I have not understood what that hype translates to. I'll be honest. This just he's a 6'6" guard? Yeah,
I'm just not quite sure the fit either on the Suns.
You need to fill in for campaign.
Yeah, but
he's not a guarantee to be back.
Yeah, but I would assume I'd rather take Ayo Dosunmu than Joshua Primo. If I'm in this,
I would rather take a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Grimy.
Grimy
would be fucking amazing on the Suns.
I would also rather take the next guy. The Jazz getting JT Thor at 30.
You mean that Dario Saric coming off of a major injury?
He's not playing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like you think
not
maybe
having
you
to
want to
play,
have a
not they were playing Torrey Craig at the 5 last game because they literally cannot play Frank the Tank because he is god awful on the court and he gets exposed possession after possession. JT Thor plugs in for the Suns.
What about the rookie this past year? Where did he go?
I don't know.
That number 10 overall?
Was it 11? I thought it was 11.
Might have been 11.
Well, what about the pick? Like,
Jalen Smith, where are you at?
What about like a pick later?
I defended your ass.
Who went like a pick
Shut
later?
up.
Who went like a pick later?
Shut up.
Who went like a pick later?
Shut up.
Tyrese Halliburton. Who could literally... Oh, that
I just want Jalen Smith to show up, okay?
It's not gonna happen. Not this year. Maybe next year.
That's why they wouldn't pick JT Thor.
You're probably.
I think they need a guard.
I agree, and it just would not be Josh.
Trust Chris Paul.
It wouldn't be Josh.
I agree.
I agree. It just genuinely wouldn't.
A lot of people have been weird and been like, "Oh, well, this is in the same vein of Anthony Simons," and I'm like, "No, no,
I'm not.
Simons had the quickest fucking his release is fucking magical quick. It is insane. Primo is nothing like him as a player.
I also
other than the fact they're both young.
He doesn't replace like Campaign's playmaking. But again, I'd rather take Miles McBride. I would rather take a guy who I know is going to be solid plugging in. I don't know how to read Primo because I haven't really seen anything out of him. Like I just kind of like I watch his tape and I'm just kind of like, yeah, like that's a guard prospect. That's like a second round guy. That's all. I would assume Miles McBride, BJ Boston. All guys I'd probably rather grimy. All guys I'd rather probably take over him. Yeah, I'm not really. I'm trying to see if there's any interesting second round picks for him, but I don't see too many. Rokas going 50 to the Sixers. I think you just did that to play well with me. So I'll
yeah. The 2 Sixer picks are trying to gain your favor.
Yeah, also Suns in the second round. If they do they have a second round pick? That's the question. I don't see one. If they trade back into the second round, Luka Garza, you need a stretch 5, maybe take a chance at Luka Garza. But pizza review, mock draft review, 1 through 10, Dave. What would you give Chainsaw score here?
I had some disagreements with a lot of your picks.
I'll go first. 6-4. I think
I was going to be nicer, and I was going to say 6-7.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
just too many discrepancies.
I feel bad about some of these picks, so I really don't. I don't feel good.
I hate Kai Jones at 11. So I think that's just.
No, you're right. I think I'm being too positive. I know I can't change it because I said it out loud. But if I could go back 30 seconds, I would give this a 5-9.
Okay. Well,
I give it a 5-9.
Yeah. I really don't like Jalen Johnson to the Warriors or Kai Jones to the Hornets. I do like Franz Wagner to the Kings. We didn't talk about that. Really,
it's perfect fit.
Do like that pick. And then James Bouknight to the Wizards. Interesting one. I'm not sure. They need playmaking off the bench. Raul Neto was their primary initiator off the bench. So shout out Raul Neto, Sixers legend. Now we've hit the halfway mark. We're going to move on to Ben's mock draft. 3rd out of 4 that we have to look after today. Ben has the Pistons at 1 going Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley at 2, Jalen Green at 3, Suggs at 4, blah, 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 chalk, chalk, chalk. At 5, the Orlando Magic joined Jonathan Kuminga. We have change inside the top 5. Number 6, Scotty Barnes. Number 7, Jalen Johnson. 8, Keon Johnson. 9, Franz Wagner to the Kings. And 10, James Bouknight to the New Orleans Pelicans. So we already talked about a lot of these, and I know, I'm sorry, James, your mock reaction might be a little bit shorter because we've already talked about a lot of these guys. But we need to start out with Kuminga at 5. We haven't really talked about Kuminga yet, so that's a good guy to talk about. The Orlando Magic kind of doing what I was saying earlier. It's going with the high-end, high-potential guy instead of the safe pick in Scotty Barnes. So I'm with the pick. I don't know how you feel about it.
I think that this is actually one of the rare scenarios where I like Kuminga over Barnes on this team. Yeah. I think that if you're asking for one man to go downhill at a basket... This is your guy.
Yeah.
This is your guy you can count on for scoring on a team. I mean, if you set up a team with spacing and playmaking around him, then absolutely Jonathan Kuminga is the raw prototype of a modern NBA wing. If he learns to put in some fucking defense and some IQ, you teach him how to play a little defense, great. He is a just freak athletically, though. So let him go downhill, let him attack the basket, let him create, let him get to the line. Yeah. This is absolutely a wing talent that you would want to have on this team. I understand that it's a crowded team at the wing, but
Oh no, this is. I was gonna say I think this is perfect because I get that they're crowded on the wing, but that kind of
it's a style of player that's different.
That kind of tweener 3-4, which I assume that the front court is going to be some combination of not Kuminga, Isaac, Okeke, Wendell, and maybe Mo gets 5 minutes. Somebody throw it in there. Some combination of those. Those are kind of your 4-5 set. They'll sign people in free agency, obviously. That 3 is kind of, the 1-2 is also set. Am I missing anybody? Because you have Fultz, Hampton, Cole Anthony. That 3 is kind of where I'm questionable about their upside. Because I think Kuminga, I know we don't like using numbers, but Kuminga and Jonathan Isaac defensively against other 3-4s and switchable against guards. I mean, that whole lineup 1 through 5 becomes switchable basically.
So you keep disrespecting my boy here, Gary Harris.
I'm not disrespecting him. I know he exists, but
he's making $20 million a year.
I refuse to exist that he's not a part of this team's future. So I'm not creating the team around him.
Sure. They could also re-sign Otto Porter Jr.
No.
Putting that out, I'm pointing it out there because OPJ could take a discount and go play for like Golden State for like $800K. Sure. Would I see him doing that? Absolutely.
Absolutely. He got his bag.
Him or the Nets. But he could also seek a moderate payday from the Magic and stay. And I think that if he's healthy, I've always liked OPJ.
I guess my worry is my worry is with that. You talked about no identity. What is looking 3 to
defense is the identity of this team.
But sure,
defense.
Sure, Otto Porter helps this year, maybe next year. 3 to 4 years down the road.
He's not that old.
I understand. He's not a high. They are still searching for that superstar guy. Signing Otto Porter back, to give him minutes. If you're going to take Kuminga, then they're probably going to end up starting Isaac over. They're going to start Otto Porter over Kuminga, and then we start hindering his progression and all that. So I just don't see the point in signing Otto Porter unless you're going to sign him to a 2-year deal and trade him at the deadline.
I agree. I agree. That makes sense. The goal is to find a superstar. The Magic have 2 shots at it in the top 10. Kuminga is one of those guys who could be an absolute offensive fucking monster for you. Play him like C-Scam. Let him attack the basket at will. And I honestly, I think this is a fit that as low as I've had him on my big board, you've had him on your big board. I think this is a fine fit for Kuminga.
Yeah,
I like him better here than Barnes going here, though.
Agree, 100%.
It is what it is.
And I with Mosley coming in, obviously as their new head coach, I don't know his exact track record with developing players and how involved he was. So I'm not going to say that their development's going to be hindered because now there's a whole new system coming in with this team.
Right.
Kuminga and Keon Johnson, you're taking 2 guys, athletic freaks. Both need works on their shot badly. But again, you said Kuminga is that guy that if you needed to put his head down and drive to the basket, he's your guy. Keon Johnson can also do that, and he is. They are the same player profile taken twice. Are you hoping that you just hit one of them? Is that your goal?
Because Kuminga doesn't play defense, and Keon does.
Yes. So
Keon plays great defense. Worst case scenario, you still have an above-average athletic defender who can finish. You have Hamidou Diallo, but better defensively slightly.
I was about to say, did they get Hamidou Diallo? I was like, when did that happen? I was like, he's on Pistons.
He's still on Pistons, but he's going to be paid by somebody this offseason. We'll see. But that's what Keon is, and that's why I've always been shitting on him as a prospect because I just don't know. Not every shot translates. Not every guy who needs to learn to shoot can get there. So I think if you're taking Kuminga at 5, I would take something better at 8. And I hate to default to a book night there, but I just feel like that's the go ahead and take book night.
I don't disagree. But what also
that is
here if you take Kuminga at 5, Şengün at 9, at 8. Because then you get a guy who can play next to Isaac. Isaac can be your rim protector and be your kind of defensive stud. And Şengün can play next to him and be an offensive beast and a polished offensive player. I feel like that hits your... What?
Would they go back to a Euro player after they just got rid of a Euro player?
Yeah.
Offensive juggernaut in Vucevic.
Yeah, they would. Because he fits their
Because they're not paying him $30 million a year.
He fits his time. He fits their timeline more. But if you're taking Kuminga there, you can walk in with whatever guard combination you want. If you want to play Cole Anthony and Markelle together, whatever. I don't care which one you do. You put Kuminga at the 3, you put Isaac at the 4, put Şengün at the 5, and just let those 3 mesh together. Those bottom 3, and then whatever happens with your guard situation, most likely 2 of them will separate themselves from the rest, and they'll become your starting backcourt. That's a future. That is a we have our wing talent. We have our center talent, we have our rim protection, and we have our offensive playmaking. That's everything. So that gives you more of an identity.
That's not a bad idea.
I think taking Kuminga and taking Keon Johnson just feels like you're hoping one of them works out, which I don't think. I don't think that should be the mindset when you have 2 picks inside the top 10. I think when we've seen that, and I can think vividly back to it, is when the Timberwolves had 2 top 6 picks, and they took Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio, hoping
Johnny Flynn would have been something special had he not gotten hurt.
No, I'm a Syracuse fan. I know. But I'm saying is that felt like they were just hoping one of them worked out, and Ricky Rubio or Johnny Flynn, instead of taking the better high-end player, right, and Steph Curry, because that's what it was. Obviously, we didn't know what he is now, but that was just like taking it and taking 2 guys at the same exact position, hoping it worked out.
But Jake, he's so small and his ankles are so weak.
Sounds like sure. No, we won't get into that. We're gonna move into 11 through 20. At 11, the Charlotte. Sorry, I forgot who this is.
Charlotte Hornets take Isaiah Jackson.
Sorry, I was thinking of who this was. This is Ben's. Sorry,
yep.
This is after a long Monday, after a long weekend. Don't hate on me. Ben has the Hornets going Isaiah Jackson at 11. 12, the Spurs, Josh Giddey. We are 3 for 3 with Josh Giddey to the Spurs. 13, the Pacers going Davion Mitchell. 14, the Warriors going Corey Kispert. 15, the Wizards going Şengün. I love it. 16, the Thunder going Kai Jones. 17, the Grizzlies going Moses Moody. 18, the Thunder going Sharif Cooper. 19, the Knicks going Trey Mann. And 20, the Hawks going Usman Garuba. So, we've talked about the Hornets. We talked about them enough. We don't need to talk about them. Giddey, don't need to talk about. Davion Mitchell to the Pacers is a little bit interesting to me. Malcolm Brogdon, Davion Mitchell over Karis LeVert, probably. I know you've spoken up on Karis LeVert and how much you don't like his game and think he's overhyped.
I loved him early on.
Do you think
he's gotten put on a fucking pedestal, Jake?
Agreed.
He has risen above his station, and it pisses me off because he's not that good.
But do you think that
he's not?
Do you think Davion Mitchell and Malcolm Brogdon make more sense together?
Did Little Holiday just die? Do I not know? Is he just not good? Have we given up on him?
He's alright.
He's just
but
TJ McConnell blew him the fuck out the water.
I was gonna say TJ just took all of his minutes and was like, I'm so much better than you.
So if we're done on Holiday, fine, I'm cool with that. Davion's fine. Again, I don't love Davion, but yeah, if you need a bench point guard, I have no problem with that pick. I don't know if I'm aiming bench point guard at 13 though.
I'd agree.
But
especially
that's an interesting one.
Especially when Sharif Cooper's there. At 14, okay. So I'll make this. I know you don't like Corey Kispert, but if you're gonna go Jalen Johnson at 7, Corey Kispert makes sense at 14 because you didn't fill that hole with Franz Wagner. You went with the risk with Jalen Johnson. Let's go with the safe pick in the second pick in Corey Kispert. That makes complete sense. I don't really have much fault. I will say I don't like Isaiah Jackson that high, and I don't like him to the Hornets that high. I get it. I get why. It's just I'm lower. I guess when I talked about looking at Primo's tape and going, I guess I look at Isaiah Jackson and just go, and I'm not really too enthused with his upside in the NBA. But yeah, Şengün at 15 to the Wizards. Haven't really talked about the Wizards.
Terrible.
Wizards, I do love Şengün, and I do like the fit if Russell Westbrook wasn't on the team. So if it was just Bradley Beal and somebody else, Şengün and Bradley Beal would be awesome. Russell Westbrook and Şengün, what is Şengün going to do? What are they going to do? Denny Avdia in one corner and Şengün in the other? Because that's all they did last year with Denny Avdia? This would just be a nightmare for international players.
And you forget Rui Hachimura?
Oh, and Rui, he was a stud last year, though. When he played, he was so good.
Again, they fired the head coach for a reason. But you also have Thomas Bryant coming off an injury, who was an offensive fucking force at the 5. So what do you do to complement that? You draft another guy who doesn't play fucking defense in the post. How can you do this? You cannot do this is the answer.
I guess I would be...
I get the value is there. You literally need to sell players, though, at this point to get them out of there. Because, yes, he would be my BPA on the board at 15. I would, as Ricky says, I would run that ticket up to the fucking table.
No, he wouldn't. Sharif Cooper's
Well, Cooper's there, but yeah. Point being, I would be very excited, but I just don't think that this is in the direction that the team is trying to go in for whatever fucking reason.
I guess
unless free agency starts with a whole lot of deals happening. Yeah. This is one of those picks where I'm like, oh, so we're just setting them up to fail now, are we?
I guess I would just love to see Denny, Rui, and Şengün on the court at the same time. Just let me see it once. Just let me. There is no room.
Why?
There is no room. Russell Westbrook is.
Go ahead and put Gafford out there too. We'll just play fucking. Yeah, we'll just play giant ball. Russell Westbrook, Rui, Denny, Şengün, and fucking Gaff Daddy. Let's just be assholes about this.
Let's run
no. Please no.
Love Şengün. Maybe I don't. I guess when I read the pick, I don't know. I don't hate the pick as much as
he's a good player. I just nothing about this fucking Wizards team says get me another defensive liability at the 5.
Now, if the Wizards end up going rebuild and Beal goes out the door, maybe Russ goes out the door.
Yeah,
then
sure.
Şengün makes sense because then you take at that point you take the guy with the highest upside that you believe.
What are the odds that Thomas Bryant comes back healthy? You know, is he going to be the same player he was? He was draining fucking threes from like a 40% clip for a little bit there. Like, how much do you believe in this man? Because I think Thomas Bryant's a great stretch 5 then.
I don't know how much I buy into Thomas Bryant. I've kind of always been somewhat low on him, so that's probably why I'm okay with the pick more than you are. I guess 16 Kai Jones makes sense to me. I guess.
Sure. They traded away Moses, so that's fine.
But I also don't think if you're taking Barnes, you're going to take Kai Jones as well. I just think, again...
Yeah, they can play next to each other.
Yeah, but do you want them playing next to each other?
It doesn't matter. You're the fucking Thunder. You're just throwing shit to the wall and seeing what sticks.
It's fair. Thunder getting Sharif Cooper. If you give me Shea and Sharif Cooper together, just give you a ring.
Sharif, Shea, Dort.
The last pick.
Woo!
The last pick I absolutely hate. Usman Gruber to the Hawks just makes no sense. Onyeka and Clint Capella. Onyeka, I genuinely think has top 30 player potential. Like he could be a top 30 player in the NBA. I think he's an elite young talent. He showed it in the playoffs. He was formidable against Joel Embiid in the post in the playoffs, which is something to be said for a 20-year-old.
As a fucking kid, yeah.
So that makes no sense to me at all. Going with Usman Gruber there. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. That's kind of like that and Isaiah Jackson are the only two picks I really, really dislike in this part, just because I think with the Hornets there's better now guys and guys with better potential, and then you look at Usman Gruber, it's just way redundant, and I don't understand what his role would be in this team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't love the pick. I think great value though. I like Moody to the Grizzlies. I think that is.
Oh, that would be him and John. That's
a dream.
You talked
about
Dillon
dream
Brooks.
for them.
You talked about Dillon Brooks, and you need to add more players kind of in that mold. That's Moses Moody. That's genuinely just Moses Moody. But yeah, 21 through 30. 21 the Knicks going Zaire Williams. 22 the Lakers going Cam Buckets Thomas. I'm gonna start calling him that now. 23.
Jalen Green is buckets. He is the walking bucket.
Secondary buckets. There you go. 23, the Rockets going Jaden Springer. 24, a new name. The Rockets going Greg Brown. 25, the Clippers going Jared Butler. Don't let that happen, please. 26, the Clippers going Chris Duarte. 27, another new name.
Nuggets going Chris Duarte.
Nuggets going, who'd I say?
You said the Clippers again.
The Nuggets. 27, a new name. The Nets going Charles Bassey. 28, the Philadelphia 76ers going Aya DeSumo. Oh, God, Ricky would have a Sixers jersey then. 29, the Suns going Day'Ron Sharpe. And 30, we talked about it last round. The Jazz going Nishan Bones Highland. Yeah, there's a lot of picks to talk about in this one. I think we need to start with, I don't think 21, 22, 23 bad. 24, Greg Brown, no. Just no.
Just no. He is.
What is his upside?
So far behind the gun as far as basketball IQ.
Yeah.
He's athletic. He can dunk. He doesn't know how to play basketball. That's what everyone has said about him. Coming out of everything that his workouts, it sounds like he's a second rounder lock at this point. I
wouldn't want him in the second round.
From an athletic standpoint, sure, you can love him. He literally does not know how to play basketball as a team sport, though. I cannot take him in the first round. I do not care if I have the best developmental staff. If I'm the Raptors,
Pacers.
if I'm the Spurs,
Pacers.
I am still not taking
Say
him
the
in the
Pacers
first
name
round.
because they deserve it.
No.
Say the Pacers name.
No.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not taking him in the first round. And you even said like the second round toss up.
I don't know if I want him in the second round. Genuinely, I would much
He
rather have
is someone
guys-
who needs to spend 3 years in the fucking G League to learn how to play the game.
He needs to spend 3 years in the G League, and then he might be able to be a bench contributor. So yeah, no. The other new name is Charles Bassey at 27. Can I reiterate what I just said? No.
A man who I pure straight hate. What are you trying to do to me here? You're trying to get me to fucking react because you did it.
I think.
Why would they take him? You have Nick Claxton. You would never take Charles Bassey's slow ass. There is no fucking imaginable reason to take a slow, outdated center on this Nets team. This is the worst pick I've seen, and I'm complaining about picking 27. Jake, Jalen Johnson at 7, I can rationalize to some fucking nth degree. Bassey in the first round to the Nets of all teams? Are you just shitting me? Are you just trying to fuck it? What? What? Why would we do this? Why would anyone fucking do this?
This is my problem with it, right? So, I guess if you... No. Even,
No.
In a second round, we have 52, we have Miles McBride. 50, we have Rocco. We have Kessler Edwards at 47. I'm trying to look at, just guys I like. Rocco's at 40. You have
literally, I can go through the second round and just
Grimes and JT Thor at 35, and then Josh Christopher at 31. So I think
hang on. 31, Josh Christopher would take him for the Nets. 32, Trey Murphy would take him for the Nets. 33, Joel Yai would take him for the Nets. 34, Brandon Boston Jr. Probably not. That's the first one. No. 35 though, JT Thor.
Probably
yes.
the second.
36, Grimes. Yes. Primo. Sure. Why the fuck not? Dyson Nix. Yeah. Sure. I'm literally going pick by pick. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Why do people love a slow fucking big? Why?
Especially in the day that we're now turning to small ball 5, and really
you have Claxton, who was great for you.
And really the only...
Everybody was trying to get him more minutes during the regular season. I'm sorry. I am just
relax.
Go ahead, Jake. I will shut up.
I think in the next 5 years, the only guys you're going to see as traditional 5s are wildly talented guys, aka your Joel Embiid, your Nikola Jokic's, or your Nikola Vucevic's. I'll even throw them in for Bulls fans.
Thank you.
Or your quick feet, uber athletic 6'11" guys. There aren't going to be many guys like Bobo's a 3 or a 4 now in the league. He's a wing basically because he's almost. It's just the game is changing so much that guys like these slow bigs, aka Jahlil Okafor, just are getting phased out of the game because they just don't fit the play style. The other guy,
your upcoming draft pick in Victor Wembanyama. Again, we have a 7'3" kid.
Or Chet. You can say Chet too. They're the same thing.
We don't want no slow ass centers no more. That ain't the game we play.
No,
we stretch the floor. We have mobility. Charles Bassey, you are not meant for this league. Go play in Europe. The play sounds slower. You will be fine over there, and you'll have a great career. And I have nothing against you personally. I'm just sick of people mocking you.
I would.
No.
Yes, okay. To wrap this up, the last point I'll make is I think the case in point with this is a guy like Kobe Coburn, who, if slow bigs were a thing, he would be a first round pick because he is wild body, slow ass feet, can't do anything besides cash hoops and can't.
20 years ago, he's a fucking lottery pick.
Agreed. Yeah, literally, he's probably right after Patrick Ewing. He's literally going right there. Yeah. So I'm afraid for this question, Dave. Give me a rating 1 through 10 of the. Actually, I'll go first. I'm gonna be a little bit nicer. You're gonna be a little bit below the last mock because you actually 1 through 20. I don't think this is a terrible mock. Besides a couple of questionable picks, I think it's all right. I think the 21 through 30, you might have put a little favoritism in some of those players that you rate a little bit higher, which is fine. But that's not how I would rate it. So I'm gonna be nice. I'm not nice. I'm gonna go a 5.8. That's what I'm gonna go. Say it, Dave. No, be honest. We said when we were doing this in our Discord, we were going to be brutally honest about your mock, so.
I tried my hardest to rationalize with you, man. I did. I tried to believe in some of these picks, and some are okay fits. But you're getting a 3-2. 3-2. That's the best I can do.
Well, you can
like
play
this is straight up like Little Caesars.
you know what?
Sober Little Caesars.
It's okay, because if you had a slow ass big like Charles Bassey, the only defense you could end up playing is probably a 3-2 zone. We're gonna move into our last mock of the video. Again, I want to thank everybody for sending in their mocks from our Discord, and who knows, maybe we'll make this like a bi-monthly thing or something like that for the upcoming draft next year. So again, if you want to be involved in stuff like this, our Discord mocks, we do random kind of fun things with our Discord. Also, we did watch longs. There was one in there last night for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I saw that. So, but we're gonna move into the last one, and it is Thunder's mock draft. We finally have change. We have a little bit of change we could talk about. Number 1, Cade Cunningham to the Detroit Pistons. Number 2, Jalen Green to the Houston Rockets. Don't tap the wall. You're against tap the wall now. Don't do it anymore. Number 3, the Cleveland Cavaliers taking Evan Mobley. 4, the Raptors taking Jalen Suggs. 5, the Magic taking Scotty Barnes. 6, the Thunder taking Jonathan Kuminga. 7, the Warriors taking Franz Wagner. 8, the Magic taking James Bouknight. 9, the Kings taking Jalen Johnson. And 10, the Pelicans taking Moses Moody. So, we've talked about every pick in this top 10 that he's had. Minus
except
1. That is the true Mr. Buckets. Mr. I get buckets. Mr. If you
walking bucket.
Mr. If you want to compare somebody to Kobe Bryant, and Devin Booker even said it himself, it's not Devin Booker. It is Jalen motherfucking Green. That is who it is. I know Ricky's watching this and just being like, it's the We Agree podcast all over again. But yeah, Jalen Green. I think we like talked about him for like 15 minutes in our last big board. We're going to do it again because, fuck it. We're going to talk about Jalen Green again. Dave, I went on the rant last time. Do you want to take the honors of it this time of talking about Jalen Green? You go.
Sure. So Jalen Green is a guy who in high school was argued as the number 1 overall pick in this draft class. Coming in, scout ranked, everything. Magically because Cade Cunningham played in college versus Jalen Green playing against better level competition, somehow Cade Cunningham became the favorite for number 1. Fine, I will accept that. I disagree. I think that Jalen Green's a phenomenal athlete who can score 3 levels, who can create better than people expect him to. Someone who has like an extra fucking jump, which not to meme on the Bagley fucking crew over there, but like he literally floats in the air after he elevates. It's incredible. There's no downside to Jalen Green. In his interviews from his teammates on the G League Ignite team, were all glowing reviews. It was like the vets on that team were speaking about how, hey, day 1, he was in there asking them questions, probing them, checking in with them, always trying to find out how to better himself, how to better his game. And that's exactly what you want to see. This is a kid who absolutely wants it more than anything in the world. And I'll be honest, I ain't seen that out of Cade Cunningham. I haven't seen that out of Mobley. Mobley wants to play for his dad. Cade Cunningham wants to play for his family. Nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, I don't know the growth we've seen out of either one of these guys. I'm not saying Cade's going to be a bad player, Mobley's going to be a bad player. I don't think either of them will be. I think that it's extremely likely this is a class of 3 top hits. 1, 2, 3, all 3 will be excellent NBA players. But I just don't understand how Cade Cunningham is head and shoulders above everyone. Head and shoulders above Jalen Green, where they were about dead even going into this past offseason. So the Rockets have been rumored to be going with Mobley, and I understand why so many mocks today have put Mobley at 2. But my heart of hearts, JG4 is number 1. Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I came over this boat a little bit, like a month ago, like somewhere around there. But I think the problem is that I think with a lot of times with drafts, we label guys the number 1. I think Cade was labeled the number 1 guy coming in.
I slapped this fucking wall so many times.
And I think that people are almost scared to go back on it because of what you see Cade. And I can understand this point is Cade is, I think, as safe of a bet as you're going to get is an all-around good player. Now, elite status, superstar status, see if he gets there. He's probably going to walk in and average 17, 7, and 7. We've talked about that. But Jalen Green, we've seen it already with guys, in NBA finals, like even a Kyrie, who was able to step in and be a scoring monster early in his finals career. That's what Jalen Green can do. We've seen it with Devin Booker right now. If Chris Paul could get his head out of his ass, the Suns would have a ring already. The series would be over if Chris Paul could get his head out of his ass. Because Devin Booker is literally, you see the stat, by the way? I saw the stat today. Devin Booker is the first player in NBA Finals history to drop 40 points in back-to-back games and lose both of those games.
That's with a broken fucking face.
That's with a broken face, too, because shout out Patrick Beverley.
Fucking scumbag.
Yeah. I just sidetracked a little bit. Did you see in our Discord today? Reason said put a thing that said Chris Paul trash talk, and he's like, "This is why people don't like him." I'm like, that's Patrick Beverley. Well, you know that he said worse. Remember when the man walked up to Lonzo Ball in his NBA debut and just shoved him and was like, "You're gonna fall to the ground right now because you're my bitch."
I'll be honest. At that moment in time, I was so rooting for Patrick Beverley. He put the clamps on him. Day one.
We did a podcast the next day. It was the first time I was ever on MVP Sports. You can go down below and talk and search Lonzo Ball, and I'm sure it'll pop up with Dave and Sean with his little lapel pens, microphones in the background, the desk set up. It was, and then we talked trash on Lonzo, and then he dropped a triple-double that night. So, yeah. Literally such a fun time. But yeah, we talked about Jalen Green. I'm just going to go to 11 through 20 because we talked about some of these guys so much and we talked.
I think that every other spot in here, I get it. I get why they're there. I still think that Jalen Johnson to the Kings is the worst fucking pick you could possibly ever make.
Yeah, we've talked about
outside of that,
fits.
I think this makes sense.
I think it's pretty chalk outside of the Jalen Johnson pick, but again, that pick's almost chalk because a lot of people think it's going to happen. So, consensus versus personal opinion. That's always going to be the debates with mocks and big boards. We're gonna move on. We have some interesting picks in this next section. Corey Kispert at 11 to the Charlotte Hornets. Şengün to the Spurs at 12, which means Josh Giddey is going somewhere else, and we can talk about him.
Somehow it's not to the Pacers at 13, which blows my mind, Jake. I'm sorry. The Pacers have an expectation here, and I would have put, hey, if Giddey's there, they're taking him.
Because T.J. McConnell's going to go walk and get money, so you plug in Josh Giddey. Keon Johnson, 13 to the Pacers. The Warriors going with Trey Murphy III at 14. The Wizards going Davion Mitchell at 15. Josh Giddey to the Oklahoma City Thunder at 16. Trey Mann to the Grizzlies at 17. Kai Jones to the Thunder at 18, Sharif Cooper to the Knicks on 19, and Chris Duarte to the Hawks at 20. So we've already talked about a couple of those picks. We've already talked about Kai Jones, Sharif Cooper, Chris Duarte, and we touched on the Grizzlies. The guys we have not talked about. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. The Warriors. We're going to start with that. We're going to start with the Warriors because there's a couple things. But the Warriors, Trey Murphy and Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner fits that kind of wing shooter role that we talked about. And then Trey Murphy brings that playmaking. It's just how much do you believe in him to be continuous? What?
Franz Wagner is a better playmaker than Murphy.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like to label Franz Wagner as a playmaker because I'm not sure if that's going to be his role in the NBA.
He is. Just be lazy, comp man, and toss Joe Ingles out there. You want to. You want to.
I don't want to be that. No, because that's Rokas because he's a lefty. That's even more and international. Come on.
More likely Rocco, but okay.
Again, international white guy, potato. They're all the same, Dave. Come on.
You're getting two guys who can be 3-and-D players. Two guys with the two, who can be 3-and-D players, and who absolutely can step in day one and help you win games at a very high level. I think that going for two can't-miss prospects would be un-Warriors-like after watching last year's draft pick with them going with James Wiseman. If I'm reading a front office, I would say that's unlikely to happen, but I think that if your goal is to win a championship next year, stacking the wings with guys who are versatile, who can play up or down, and who can defend multiple positions, who can space the floor, like this ticks every fucking box for you. So I don't think this is a bad draft anyway. I just think that it's unrealistic from the style of front office that they have.
I would agree. My only problem with Trey Murphy at 14 seems a bit high. Maybe it's just me that I don't rate him as high as other people. Now we've seen him consistently in these mocks. Not somebody that I'm very high on. I didn't think I had him in my top 30 in my last big board. So just I don't know how to read him right now, honestly, and I'm not sure what his upside is in the NBA. Again, that'll probably change. My mock will be coming out next Tuesday, so you'll see him in the first round most likely. Yeah. Davion Mitchell to the Wizards replace Raul Neto. I think that's really the role you're looking for, is an upgrade and a replacement for a playmaker.
And a potential long-term replacement if they do get a bite on Russell Westbrook at some point soon.
They probably won't, but yeah,
dumber things have happened, Jake.
That is true. somebody traded for Al Horford, so that's true. And somebody just traded for Kemba, who has literally degrading knees. So I mean, hey, things do happen in the NBA.
You're about to be that team, by the way. Good luck.
No, we're not.
You're getting Kemba.
For Tobias Harris, sure, that's fine. Yeah, getting to the Thunder makes no sense to me.
I can't see why that like
him and not that he is nowhere near. He can't play on the court with Shea. I don't think. I genuinely don't think that tandem works. I think Shea is vastly underrated, but getting another consistent playmaker on a team, that a scoring playmaker is what they need next to Shea, like a Sharif Cooper. Continue to mention him. Josh Giddey doesn't really.
Thank you.
Josh Giddey doesn't really do it for me with this team. I just don't see especially with Theo coming on towards the end of the year. I'm not quite sure who are you taking out of the rotation and who are you plugging in to play Giddey? Because if you're going to take Giddey, you have to play him 25 minutes a night. You're not taking Giddey to play him 15 minutes a night. I just don't see it. I just don't see the reason for the pick.
I agree with you from a fit standpoint. He just does not make any sense in this team.
Yeah.
From an upside standpoint, I don't know how long ago these mocks came out, but like
a week ago.
Where the fuck is JT Thor at?
These were a week ago. See, these were post combine, so JT Thor definitely should be higher on most of these. He has JT Thor.
I don't see
not
a
in the
way
first
the
round.
Thunder don't take JT Thor if he's available at 18.
It's on brand.
Like that, it screams Thunder pick to me.
So on brand.
I think that I don't love Giddey to that team, and like you said, he can't space the floor yet. He's a good passer for his size, yes, but like there's just holes to his game right now. And I know the Thunder are not on a fast, build schedule right now. But
wait, you don't think they're the fast skill set? I heard we read rumors that Shea doesn't fit their timeline. The fuck, Shea is your timeline. Like,
yeah.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think we toss around the term underrated a lot.
Massive. Yeah.
I think that I think people should more talk about terms with him and how underrated he is, because
they told him to go home and rehab for an injury that shouldn't have taken an entire year.
Because he was too good.
Yeah, you just chill.
Because he was
you
too
put up
good.
25. Like he's gonna put up 25, 5 and 5 this year and be fine. Like on 50, 40, fucking 80 shooting splits. And people are like, oh my god, like, well, you just forgot because he didn't play for the last 4 months of the season.
No, we know how good he is. Like,
yeah,
just getting him helping. Like, yeah, that. It's literally
no. I think Giddey, it might be a value pick.
I can see that.
Maybe that's the case for you, and you think that, hey, long-term Giddey out there on the wing, you have this crazy jumbo lineup of like Shea, Giddey, and fucking Poku on the floor at the same time sharing. I guess the matchups would be hard to fucking match with you, but like I just don't love the fit at all. I don't think the development has a window.
And then you take Kai Jones, and your other pick is Kuminga. So you walk away with Kuminga, Kai Jones, and Josh Giddey. Just screams. It screams lack of direction.
We're never leaving the tank.
Yeah,
that's what it screams.
We talked about it with the Magic. It just seems lack of direction and what you like want in these picks. I like Giddey, but I think Giddey plays more as a wing in the NBA. I don't think he plays as a primary initiator. So I think that's what you need next to Shea, and we've seen that. I don't think in many of the picks. Again, we talked about Trey Mann.
Love the fit on the Grizzlies again. I think he plays more as an off-ball guard, and I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good fit for there, and we'll see. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I think again, like 18, 19, 20 for me. Even 17, I'm like hit it. All 4, 17 through 20. I have no problem with any of those. And even 14 for me, I was cool with Davion. 15, 14, Trey and Davion. I think both those are okay. The Keon Johnson to the Pacers makes no fucking sense to me. Şengün to the
I would say
Spurs.
the last pick we need to talk about is 11. 11, Corey Kispert to the Hornets.
How? Why?
I guess this is your PJ Washington as your future 5, which we talked about earlier, and maybe Hayward leaves and Kispert plugs into the 3. Maybe.
It's such a massive downgrade.
I agree.
You need more upside. And again, like
I'm saying that you get the upside of the 2 position. I don't like the pick of Kispert here. Honestly, if you're gonna take Kispert, like I would not take him here, and I would just take Keon.
Trade back.
Trade back or take Keon and hope he develops a shot. That's genuinely that's what you're hoping at that point. I think the Hornets need to go with high upside players, not safe
Yes.
players. They are the complete
Yeah.
opposite of like Golden
This
State.
is year one of LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
You have a couple years. This is not Zion demanding out after half a year.
I think he likes it, honestly.
I think the city loves him, and I think he loves the city right now.
he
So
loves
I'm
Miles.
with you. I think you have to go upside, and Miles Bridges and him, like you said, never separate
leave.
them.
Bring Lonzo in. And then
Yeah.
you know, we got the brother trio, and LiAngelo can just sit there like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." So,
We'll give him courtside seats. That's the best we can
that
do.
would be painful. That would just be painful. But yeah, I think that 11 through 20 is fine. I just don't like the Kispert pick. And then Shea going to the Spurs, I think, maybe you did this on
They
purpose.
literally played DeMar DeRozan at the 4. I don't like. That's fine. Go ahead and put an offensive
I think
stud out
that
there.
I swear it's the international white guy to the Spurs. It just screams like that's what it screams to me. But yeah, I don't mind the 11 through 20. I think it's pretty good. I think most of the picks hit. I just have a question mark with Josh Giddey on the Thunder, like short term. Long term, who knows? We'll move on to the last round of picks. 21, the Knicks going Isaiah Jackson. 22, the Lakers going Jared Butler. 23, the Rockets going Usman Garuba. 24, the Rockets going Zaire Williams. 25, the Clippers going Ayo Dosunmu. 26, the Nuggets going Jaden Springer. 27, the Nets going Cam Thomas. Love that pick. 28, the Sixers going Josh Christopher. Love that pick. 29, the Suns going to Sean Bones Highland. Love that pick. And 30, the Jazz going Miles McBride. I think this is the best 21 through 30 out of all the mocks. I genuinely
And
think
even 31, 32, Grimy and Wieskamp.
yeah.
I think, again, like I really like what they've done here. Again, my complaint is still JT Thor's not on your board.
Agreed.
So you're fucking wrong. But addressing the needs, you've done that. You gave the Sixers a ball handler on the bench. You gave the Nets a bucket. You gave the Clippers another ball handler who can create and score. Like, I liked a lot about what you did here. The Rockets gained 2 massive upside picks in Usman and Zaire. No problem. Jared Butler to the Lakers. Again, wet dream for them. No problem. Jackson to the Knicks. I don't like. That's the only one that stands out to me as a bad pick.
Yeah.
I really just... And if anything...
It makes no sense, honestly. Unless you're losing Noel, but then you're getting Mitchell Robinson back. So then it just... Again, it screams Isaiah Jackson. I'm not quite sure what his role is going to be in the NBA. So
You need scoring and floor spacing. He does neither of those for you. That seems like a terrible pick.
Agreed. I think the Knicks taking any big outside of like Usman, Garuba, I think is a bad pick, honestly. I think you need to target a guard playmaker, a wing knockdown 3-and-D shooter like a Duarte, like a Cooper, a Jaden Springer, a Chris Duarte, all need to take preference over a big for me if you're talking with the Knicks.
Yeah, and again, they got Cooper at 19, so like they addressed one, but like they're still. I wouldn't go with a.
I'd go with the wing.
I'd
go with the wing. If Josh Christopher's there, I'd take Josh Christopher. If
JT Thor.
If JT Thor's there, I'd take Rocco. I'd take all those guys before I take him.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's a pretty good 21-30 outside of the Isaiah Jackson pick.
What do you think? And I feel like I'm a nitpicking asshole now.
Yeah.
29 and 30. Do you think they should be swapped?
No, because I think if you're replacing Campaign with Nashawn Highland, you're thinking that you can get somewhat of the same playmaking, which I think the scoring ability, yes. Making everybody else around you better, no. His Campaign underrated part of his game this year is making others around him better. And then Miles McBride, yeah, I like the fit in Utah. I think that's...
I think McBride's more complimentary piece next to the guys in the Suns, and I think that Highland, like you said, as a long-term transitional piece for Clarkson, maybe that could be a good answer.
Yeah, I agree. But Dave, give me your 1 through 10. What's your rating on this one? I think this is one of the better ones. I think this is not. I think Thunder knocked us out of the park. And Dave, actually, I don't know if you're up for it, but I forgot we have one more mock to react to after this as well. I won't tell you yet, but I remember we have one that was sent to me that I didn't have.
7.7. This is the best one so far. I asterisk it though because the blatant disrespect to JT Thor at 35.
Yep.
But you do have Renz at 34, so I'm just like, whatever. You're just fanboying. The top of the second round is literally Dave pick, don't give a fuck. Dave pick. So You did your homework.
I'll give it a 7-9. It would have gotten an 8 or above if Sharif Cooper wasn't disrespected. I'll still stand by. He should go in the lottery. And if JT Thor is on your board. We're going to move into our final mock. I know I said that with the last one, but I forgot that Retro has sent me him through DMs. Retro is he's a dear friend of mine. We talk a lot. We talk often. You know how I feel, Retro.
Yep.
He is one of the OG of OGs. And we're talking about Chainsaw earlier. He's one of them. But we're going to move. Yep. We talked about most of these, but there are some surprising picks with his. He's a man after my own heart with a lot of his ideas to the draft. Detroit Pistons at 1 going Cade Cunningham. Rockets at 2 going Jalen Green. The Cavs at 3 going Evan Mobley. Raptors at 4 going Jalen Suggs. Magic at 5 going Keon Johnson. Thunder at 6 going Jonathan Kuminga. 7 the Moses Moody. The Golden State Warriors going with Moses Moody. 8 Scotty Barnes to the Magic. 9 Franz Wagner to the Kings, and 10 James Bouknight to the Pelicans. So we talked about most of these, except for Keon Johnson is 5th. Now let me premise this: is Retro's guy in this draft is Keon Johnson. So I would assume that he fully believes in his athletic ability and his shot creation or shot ability to grow. That's why he has him so high. And then he does have them going Scotty Barnes at 8. So like literally, if you just flip them.
How does okay? Even if
believe you can be completely blunt because it's Retro. So don't take it easy on him.
I can't say the word that I would normally refer to at Retro because YouTube would demonetize this video instantly. But Retro, you know what I'm saying to you, oi. But like,
oi.
Even if Keon does go 5, sure, smoke that shit. Feel the way you feel. 6 at OKC would 110% be Scotty Barnes. I don't.
Yeah, I'd agree.
There's no way that they're gonna take Kuminga if Barnes is on the board at OKC. Fine. Moody 7, I'm cool with. I love him. I love the fit. I love the team comp. No problems there. 8, Kuminga ends up on the Magic. Maybe then, sure. Like again, we're sort of getting to the same place, but I just. The fuck!
If you flip Scotty Barnes and Keon Johnson, there would be no problems with this mock, with the top 8. Because if Scotty Barnes is off the board, the Thunder go Kuminga. And then if they're both off the board, I'd assume like Moses Moody to the Warriors, I think makes complete sense. And I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised this is the first person I've seen him take 7, Moses Moody.
Yeah.
Because I believe he's going to go inside the top 10. And at 7 I don't think I'd bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, that's a perfect fit for them. And then, yeah, I think Scotty Barnes and Keon Johnson, if they're flipped, we're not complaining as much.
Oh, no, I'm just... he believes so much more in Keon Johnson. And then, like I said, I think the Thunder would absolutely jump on Scotty Barnes. So that might ruin part of his day, the way that would fall down. But, again,
I'm surprised, too, because he loves Scotty Barnes, too. So,
yeah.
Was it his mission?
I don't... See, the crazy thing for me is, like, I don't see Scotty Barnes as that much better than, like, Rocco. So, like... the whole thing for me is just like, wow. Yeah. I know, wow.
I guess
Wagner at 9 though, great job. That's what the team needs.
Bouknight at 10, great job. Again, I think it's fine.
I guess I'm with you though. I don't know what the fuck this Pelicans team is. Adding Bouknight doesn't hurt you, I guess. I don't know if it's the right pick though.
Don't you think like I know Bouknight, but like like is it the same thing?
Bouknight's probably going to be a more consistent floor spacer, attacks the rim a little better, but Bouknight has the upside of being an athletic monster. So, like, if I'm banking on it, I'm probably going to bank on Bouknight just being a better version.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Again, we come back to roster identity and lack of concentration of what your future is. I think that Bouknight just intensifies that.
He spaces the floor, so take that. I guess that's the, hey, we want somebody to space the floor. But again, like, if your goal is... my thought is, if I'm the Pelicans, I know this is not this video, but I'll be brief. If I'm the Pelicans, Zion scoring 30 a night. How do we achieve Zion scoring 30 a night? That's our number one goal. People are already complaining about Brandon Ingram being... taking too much time and the ball in his hands and taking too many shots. B.I. was one of the best fucking scorers in the NBA last season, so get the fuck out of here, first off.
He took 6 catch-and-shoot 3 attempts per game and shot 40% on those catch-and-shoot 3s. It's not a hard concentration to figure out. Just get a offensive initiator that allows Brandon Ingram to play on the wing off ball.
Point guard! Draft a fucking point guard! Why is this a problem?
But it seems like they understand because they're targeting Kyle Lowry, but that's unrealistic when you could just fix your problem right at 10 when apparently they've talked about trading the pick. I'm like,
Sharif Cooper, done. Fixed.
It's way too early. You'd have to. Giddy fixes your problem more than Book Knight does. I think he does. Don't shake your head like you're having a seizure. I think
No.
Giddy makes
No, we ain't doing that.
because I'm also lower on Book Knight than most people. Is that
I know you are.
Giddy fits better than Book Knight does in my mind. I just think Book Knight overlaps and doesn't solve your playmaking problem, which I don't think Giddy does immediately, but eventually I think he can. So there's why. That's a long-term pick, not a short-term pick. Book Knight is a short-term pick. Giddy would be your long-term vision.
Yeah, I mean, like, Book Knight could end up just being like Eric Gordon, before injuries, which is not bad, but like it's also not anything to write home about. So
yeah,
I think there are guys with better upside, better long-term fit around your superstar and Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, if you're building a team, you're drafting around him. You don't give a fuck about whatever else is happening on this big board. Like you're just going, who's my best player to play next to Zion? And if it's Book Knight, you might be shitting the bed a little, in my opinion.
It's fair. What we want to do is 11 through 20. 11 retro has the Hornets taking Isaiah Jackson. Oi, oi, oi. 12 the Spurs taking Jalen Johnson. I really want to say oi, oi after every pick. 13 the Pacers taking Josh Giddey. There's the on-brand pick. 14 the Warriors taking Davion Mitchell. Yep. 15 the Wizards taking Corey Kispert. That actually makes sense to me. 16 the Thunder taking Şengün. Okay. 17 the Grizzlies taking Garuba. You're speaking my language right there. 18 Jared Butler to the Oklahoma City Thunder. 19 Kai Jones to the what? Oh, phenomenal. 19 the Knicks taking Kai Jones, and 20 the Hawks taking Zaire Williams. So we already talked about Isaiah Jackson. The Hornets won't touch them. We talked about Jalen Johnson and the Spurs. Perfect. If he's gonna fail at the Spurs, most likely he's gonna fail anywhere else. That's genuinely my assumption. I think that's the perfect landing spot for him. Pop will grill him. They'll probably send him to the G League, and they'll be like, "Work on your game, and come back up."
They'll be like, "Quit being an asshole.
Literally,
you're not that good.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy." Yep. But yeah, great pick. And then Giddey, finally, somewhere he belongs. He can learn under Brogdon, play with that Pacers team, play off the bench for that team. I mean, him and O'Shea Brissett, I might have like a pseudo Indiana Pacers fan.
Yeah, no, I think this is the place that Giddey will do best at because of the floor space and because of the staff around him, because of the timeline expectations. Like that is just, it makes the most sense for me as well.
Yeah. Kispert, Davion Mitchell at 14. If you're going to take Moses Moody,
at least you're not taking him at 7.
If you're taking Moses Moody and Davion Mitchell, that's fine with me. I think you solve your bench playmaking problem. You can play Jordan Poole next to those two if you want.
Yes.
If you want to go full bench unit, and you solve your scoring problem off the bench. If you roll out like that starting lineup, and then off the bench, like halfway through the first, you just run out Moody, Mitchell, and Poole, like it's one of the best.
They're never going to do that, but with Draymond and insert backup center here. But yeah,
insert backup center. You mean Draymond, the backup center? That's how good he is.
No, maybe.
But
probably.
Yeah, I just think that's like you solved your scoring issue off the bench, which is the main issue for the team. Is that when Curry was off the court, who the hell's going to get a bucket?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's not the worst thing. And again, like the whole if you flip 7 and 14, would it matter? I think on a lot of people's big boards, that would probably be the way they see it. So I appreciate that Moody being respected as a top 10 pick and Davion not being a top 10 pick fits our consensus big boards over here at MVP.
Yep.
Kispert at 15 though, love it. Floor spacer, right what you want with Russell Westbrook. He can play the 2, yeah. He can play the 3. Worst case, he can play the 4 if everybody gets hurt. Yeah. I'm cool with that.
I hate the that's what you want with Russ. I'm like, I don't want Russ. That's it. I just don't want Russ.
But if you're playing with Russ,
you need shooters. But maybe you'll make it out of the first round. Şengün,
they were a hot fucking team. Okay, to end the season.
Well,
hot.
And they lost.
They were 15-5.
Yeah, they lost to a team that choked a 28-point lead at home. So the Thunder will walk away in this draft with Kuminga, Şengün, and Jared Butler.
I would not be sad.
I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, I would not.
Jared Butler can start next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. There's your backcourt. You plug and play them. Şengün can probably, would he start with that team? That maybe.
Horford's gone, so
Probably.
yes.
Probably. And then who am I forgetting that they took? And then they just took Kuminga. So you just what? So you plug in Butler, Shea, Kuminga. Who starts?
Poku.
Poku. Do you think Poku starts next to Şengün?
Baisley.
Probably, and then Şengün.
I don't know if you could play Baisley next to Şengün, but yeah.
I don't think
or
they have.
Şengün.
They don't have their 4 yet to play next to Şengün at all.
Yeah.
So I think
That's in the air.
that's kind of up in the air. But that's to walk out. That team has an identity. Then Jared Butler is exactly the kind of guy you want next to Shea. Kuminga has that upside for the 3 that you want, and then you have Şengün, who can be at worst your backup 5, 4, 5, who can get you buckets and basically run your second unit facilitating wise. So yeah,
It might take him a little bit to get to running a second unit.
No,
but
I mean like
he will sure be the focal point of that offense.
I would say running it out of the post, basically, not running it like offensive initiator. Being the main focal point of a bench unit. You could walk in and do that most likely.
Absolutely.
And then I think we talked about it in the last mock a little bit. Kai Jones of the Knicks. I just don't like it.
Well, you got to tack on the 21.
We will. We'll get there. And then 20 Zaire Williams. I think it fits the Hawks mold. Taking wings with high upside who might work out. Like
it's a gamble.
But they can afford.
No, I'm sorry. It's bet protection on Cam Reddish.
But like
it's saying we don't know if Cam Reddish will be a superstar. So we'll take another guy who disappointed in college and could be an absolute stud.
If you're talking about a team that can afford to take a risk on a high risk, high reward player, it's the Hawks. Because we talked about the abundance of talent they have. If Zaire Williams doesn't work out, oh well. Well, we have Bogey, Herter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, Danilo Gallinari. Like, oh well. And if he works out, then you just have another trade piece. Like, if you're talking about teams that are positioning themselves for superstar trades, the Hawks are right along that line for when a big player becomes available in the next year or so. But yeah, I think that's probably what my favorite 11 through 20, especially Usman Garuba going to the Grizzlies. I think that's a good fit. Brandon Clark insurance because he kind of got his minutes taken away. He was good, then his shot kind of faded away. Didn't want to.
It didn't fade away. It fucking imploded.
Okay, yeah.
Jake, he was unplayable.
You know what? Great though.
Literally unplayable.
I don't know if I told you about this. I talked to Ricky about it. You know what team should be fully in on Brandon Clark? The Bulls.
I figured that was coming,
because
but why?
Him next to Vucevic, it works. If he can get an inkling of his shot back, which I fully believe he still can. I'm not going to buy into the one season wonder of him being a not bad, horrible shooter.
Thank you.
You add the rim protection that he can bring next to Vucevic. He kind of can guard the 4-5.
He's a weak side helper at the rim. I'll give you that, but no, not yet. I love Janin Jark. But I can't.
But he'd be
not yet.
No, but it's not like you're gonna.
He would be Brandon Clark.
You're not
again.
gonna have to give a ton up to get him, most likely. And
like if I'm trading that team, it better be walking away with Grayson Allen.
Sure, you want to throw him in too. That's fine.
Saying
it's fine because if they get Usman Garuba, Brandon Clark has to be on the trade board. There's no way he's staying at that point. There's no room for him to play.
No, because you got Xavier Tillman, who is fucking fantastic.
They fucked him in the playoffs too, but just not giving him minutes because how good he was in the regular season. But really good 11 through 20, I actually believe. 21 through 30, the Knicks taking Chris Duarte. 22, the Lakers getting Sharif Cooper. 23 and 24, the Rockets going Cam Thomas and Jaden Springer. 25, the Clippers going Trey Mann. Just almost. 26, the Nuggets getting Ayo Dosunmu. 20, and that wasn't. I actually I had someone come up in my throat. It wasn't the picks.
Okay,
I swear to
God,
wasn't
the reaction.
It wasn't the reactions. 27, the Nets going JT Thor. There's your guy. 28, the Sixers going Miles McBride. 29, a newcomer, Phoenix Suns, Daishan Nix. 30, the Jazz going Josh Christopher. And then we can obviously Justin Champagne at 32. Obviously, he's not in the draft anymore. Knicks, I guess Chris Duarte and Kai Jones. I still don't like the pick of Kai Jones. If Sharif Cooper is there, you take Sharif Cooper if you're the Knicks. Simple as that.
Yeah, why people hate the best facilitator in the entire draft list, I don't understand.
Well, second best, yeah, I agree.
Nope, he is the best, and it's not even fucking particularly close.
I think he's the second best, and it's not particularly close. But yeah, we talked about it before. We don't need to touch on it again. Sharif Cooper on the Lakers. Holy shit! Like
LeBron James doesn't have to be on the court 48 minutes so the Lakers have an offense. That's what that means.
What you wanted Dennis Schroeder to be, that Sharif Cooper can be that.
Yep.
That just without the ego, hopefully.
Yep.
Um,
What dumpster fire of the Rockets though?
like what are they
Why
doing?
does he hate the Rockets?
But like, here's my question: why does he have him taking Jalen Green and then Cameron Thomas and Jaden Springer? It just makes no
Why
sense.
does he hate the Rockets?
Why does he hate? Because you're gonna put Jalen Green, Cam Thomas, and Kevin Porter all on the court at the same time.
And John Wall.
He's not gonna be on. Maybe he'll be on the team. I don't know if he'll be on the team. Yeah. I just. Are you just
He
taking?
hates the Rockets. This has to be an oversight.
It's like if they took Mobley, I could more believe these picks. But you're taking 3 guards now. 2 of them are pure scorers when you already have Kevin Porter Jr. on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Thomas plays no defense. And then Jaden Springer, I'm not quite sure what his upside exactly is going to be in the NBA. And
He's an uber young, great combo guard who plays above average defense right now. Potentially has a good shot. We just don't know because of Tennessee's offense.
yeah,
That's my brief elevator pitch.
I just think when a guy like JT Thor's sitting there, or a Trey Mann, or even a Josh Christopher, I would rather have Josh Christopher. Maybe not, like this is his range 21 to 30. I'd rather have him at those picks than back to back Jalen Green, Cam Thomas. When you already have Kevin Porter Jr., it just doesn't vibe well with me. Like the word
I would
choice.
agree with you very much there.
Like the word choice, the vibe.
Yep.
25, the Clippers taking Trey Mann. Great pick. Playmaking off the bench. I think it's very weird to say. I think Io fits that team a little bit better than Trey Mann does. And Io goes next to the Nuggets, which I think would be a great pick. Again, playmaking off the bench. The Nuggets kind of lacked at times. They brought in Austin Rivers to try to kind of hold it a little bit. I think Io could be that for an extended period of time. Just a limited kind of, what is it? Fire in a bottle. What is this saying? Like a burst of energy off the bench. I can't think of the saying that it is. I'm gonna really sound really dumb.
I'm the wrong guy.
A burst of energy off the bench. That's what he'll bring. That's what I would believe. The Nets, JT Tour at 27. I'm not. I guess Claxton just gets fucked.
That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess Claxton's just out. And you need a wing ball handler, somebody like Christopher is just like the pick that makes the most sense. Grimy.
I will argue Grimy over Christopher for the Nets. If you're asking for someone to play in a playoff series next year, it's Quentin Grimes.
I saw what he did to Syracuse this year. I saw it.
He's very good.
He's very good. I agree. And then Miles McBride to the Sixers. When Christopher's there, I like Miles McBride. Sixers need offense. Purely offense. So if Sean Highland's there, if Trey Murphy's there at 31, Josh Christopher, I just think there's other options to go with. I love Miles McBride. I think late first, early second, he's going to plug in and be a good NBA player. Just not sure if the Sixers have quite a need for him.
Yep.
Deshaun Nix, any thoughts on him to the Suns?
Not the worst pick.
Replacing campaign.
I think that we haven't seen enough. I didn't see enough out of Nix to warrant a first round pick, but because of his potential, he's got a great frame for a point guard, and I think that if you think that he can be an above average passer for his position, then yeah, I mean, go ahead and take a shot on him late one, get that extra contract control.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see in the second round where he has him.
He has insulting shit in the second round.
I would say Quentin Grimes at 48 to the Hawks, Rocco at 53.
Yeah, that's where I was looking.
And he has Maker and Queta in this draft. I like Queta, but I don't know.
It's
Kessler
just
Edwards.
blasphemy.
Oh, give me Kessler Edwards on the Raptors. But yeah,
he shit the bed. We could just say he shit the bed in 21 through 30.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good mock 1 through 20, and then 21 through 30 just kind of went down. Dave, 1 through 10, rank the mock.
Here, you are a friend. You're an OG MVP here. I'm wearing the fucking OG merch here.
Yeah.
That we couldn't get to you because you live across the goddamn globe.
You live across the pond.
Yeah. No.
No, they call
the
it
pond. The pond is England.
No. Oh, is it?
Across the pond's England.
It's all the same to me.
He lives in fucking
Australia.
Yeah, I didn't want. I was trying not to put him on blast. Okay.
I don't think Retro cares.
I'm stalling for time.
Okay, I'll go. 1 through 20, 1 through 10, fine. 11 through 20, fine. Since 2/3 of the draft is fine, I'll go 6, 7. 21 through 30 was insulting. If 21 through 30 was better, you would have gotten the only over 8 score. There's your answer.
I have several points of contest with your draft throughout. I want to give you a 6'9" because it fucks at times, but I can't do it. You're a 6'1". You're a 6'1".
I wish I was 6'1".
Same.
But Dave, that was good. That was good first reacting to mock drafts. This is the first time. I think I enjoyed it. Honestly, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I hope the fans enjoy it. We gave a lot of thought, a lot of reasoning behind everything.
Yeah.
We did take our time, went on some tangents.
Did.
It was a journey.
This is gonna be a near this is like an hour and a half video, I believe. So
easily.
Yeah. Again, Dave and I will be back for more draft content. We may be back later this week, and then after the draft, you're gonna see videos piling out from both of us. We'll probably break down nearly every single team, if not like undrafted free agents. So it'll be a lot. Check it out again. Patreon, Discord, and channel members down below. Everything's in the description. Again, thank you, Pat Hill, our Patreon. I can't even think right now. That was so much talking. I hope everybody has a good day, and we will see you guys next time.